LoveLore Library. Chapter 464. When Yang Ming heard Shen Yueping's words, he could only smile bitterly. Sure enough, as he expected, if Shen Yueping went, then things would only be more troublesome. Intercede. Is it useful to intercede? Moreover, it would be better if she didn't intercede. If she interceded and was detained by the other party, Lin Jiyun's father would be agitated and cause some trouble. It would be troublesome if it changed from being reasonable to not being reasonable. Auntie, you don't have to intercede. Will the company listen to you? Yang Ming said helplessly. But this matter is definitely not done by Jiyun's father. It's his boss. What does it have to do with Jiyun's father? Shen Yueping was puzzled. Yang Ming thought, things are definitely not so simple. If the other party was only looking for Lin Jiyun's father to collect the debt, then it was possible to shirk the responsibility. Now, the other party said that they wanted to sue Lin Jiyun's father, then things were different. There must be evidence to sue. In other words, the other party must have evidence in their hands that pointed to Lin Jiyun's father. It was an unshirkable responsibility. This was also the problem that Yang Ming was most worried about. Auntie Shen, don't worry. My opinion is that you don't go to Donghai. I will do it. I have a relatively powerful friend in Donghai. You can ask her for help. Yang Ming pretended to be relaxed and comforted Shen Yueping. Besides, isn't it just about money? At most, we will pay for it. Pay for it? How can we afford it? Shen Yueping was shocked. It's a contract of a few million. What? A few million? Why is it so much? Yang Ming frowned. The amount is so huge. No wonder the other party wants to sue. However, this money was nothing to Yang Ming. He just didn't want to throw away a few million. What kind of business does Yun'er's father do? The contract is huge. Shen Yueping explained. I know, Auntie Shen. Do you believe me? Yang Ming asked suddenly. I naturally believe you. You have helped our family so much. Shen Yueping also knew that if she went to Donghai, she would definitely be in the dark. She wouldn't know anyone. How could she not know that the chances of success of interceding with those two companies were almost zero? But what else could she do? He had to at least try, right? Now that Yang Ming took the initiative to offer help, Shen Yueping was naturally very touched. Yang Ming, I don't know what to say. My Yun'er is really lucky to know you. Auntie Shen, don't say that. Since you mentioned Jiyun, then I won't be polite. With my relationship with Jiyun, I should do this now. You don't have to feel burdened. Although a few million isn't a small number, I promise that I will gather the money to compensate others. I will definitely bring Uncle Lin back safely. Yang Ming solemnly said to Shen Yueping. Yang Ming. In fact, Lin Jiyun was the most excited at this moment. Only she was clear about the relationship between herself and Yang Ming. These two people were just pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend. She didn't understand why Yang Ming wanted to help her so much. And it wasn't just once, but again and again. This kind of help and care was definitely not the kind of help from an ordinary friend. Lin Jiyun wasn't a fool. Yang Ming's care for her could be said to be meticulous. Although Lin Jiyun had never been in love, she had never seen a pig run before. Novels, movies, serials. The care between lovers was just like this, right? Lin Jiyun never felt that Yang Ming owed her anything. Although there was a mistake before. Now Lin Jiyun had regarded the pain as a mistake, but Lin Jiyun felt that Yang Ming deserved it, didn't he? He just delayed the time to get it. So now, for everything that Yang Ming did for her, Lin Jiyun was touched. Of course, there were some complicated feelings that couldn't be said. Lin Jiyun also thought about why. Was Yang Ming pursuing her? It didn't seem like it. She also knew that Yang Ming had a girlfriend, and they seemed to have a good relationship. Then, why was it? Yang Ming was so natural with her. Lin Jiyun once thought that Yang Ming was too immersed in the act, but later she dispelled this idea. Pretending was just pretending no matter what. Actions and words could be faked, but the deep concern in his eyes couldn't be faked. Lin Jiyun sighed. She had gradually gotten used to Yang Ming's current behavior. She was used to Yang Ming's care and Yang Ming's care. Even when she encountered trouble, the first person she called was Yang Ming. Just like just now, when she was helpless, she subconsciously called Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun also knew that it was wrong to do this, but she just couldn't control herself. Because everything had become a habit. She even had a feeling of fear. She was afraid that her relationship with Yang Ming would be exposed one day. Then, she would lose her current life forever. Lin Jiyun shook her swollen head and wiped the tears on her face. When Shin Yueping wasn't paying attention, she whispered to Yang Ming, "Why are you so good to me?" And Yang Ming was stunned and replied casually, "I'm your boyfriend. What's wrong with being good to you?" I mean. Lin Jiyun just wanted to say something, but she saw Shin Yueping turn her head, so she quickly closed her mouth. "Yeah, Yun-er, why are you saying such strange things?" Shin Yueping heard that Yang Ming promised to bring Lin Chongqing back safely even if he had to pay for it. She breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Jiyun really couldn't say anything. She could only sigh slightly. Forget it. Let's leave it to fate. In this life, I seem to be entangled with Yang Ming. Auntie Shin, you give me Uncle Lin's contact information. I will go to Donghai. The sooner the matter is solved, the better. Yang Ming said. Okay, I will write it down for you. The place where he lives is called Dafa Hotel. Shin Yueping said as she took out a pen and paper and wrote down the address for Yang Ming. Auntie Shin, since you trust me, leave this matter to me. You and Jiyun go back and wait for my news. Yang Ming said. No, I want to go with you. Lin Jiyun suddenly said. This. Yang Ming hesitated. It was actually fine for Lin Jiyun to go as long as she didn't run around. For Lin Jiyun's request, Yang Ming had always found it difficult to refuse. Okay. Yang Ming said, but you must be obedient. It seems that I am very naughty. Lin Jiyun also smiled through her tears. Yang Ming and Shin Yueping went to refund the ticket, then they left the bus terminal and said goodbye. Yang Ming called Ho Jinhan. Big Ho, I am going to Donghai now. You should go too. Meet me at the highway toll booth outside the city. Okay, brother Yang. Ho Jinhan's answer was always so simple. Lin Jiyun, who got Yang Ming's promise, was relieved at this time. She didn't pay attention to what car Yang Ming was driving. Now she looked at Yang Ming's car with some surprise. Why is this car so strange? By the way, I remember now. In the Iron Man movie that I watched, Iron Man drove this car. Probably. This car does look like Iron Man, Yang Ming nodded. The performance is good, but it is a bit too domineering for a girl to drive. This car could only be driven by a woman like Sun Jia. Her character was quite strong. Is the owner of this car a woman? Lin Jiyun couldn't help but ask. And, it's the friend from Donghai that I was talking about. Yang Ming smiled and drove the car. He didn't notice Lin Jiyun's uneasiness. After listening to Yang Ming's words, Lin Jiyun actually had some slight jealousy. This girl must have a close relationship with Yang Ming. Otherwise, why would she lend such a good car to others? What was ridiculous was that Lin Jiyun didn't expect that Yang Ming was willing to pay millions for her. She was still jealous of others. The bus terminal was very close to the highway toll booth outside the city, so Yang Ming arrived a little earlier than Ho Junhan. The car was parked on the side of the road, which attracted many people's attention. The Audi R8 was still very popular in China. Especially Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun, a handsome man with a beautiful woman, it was even more enviable. But jealousy was jealousy. Many people still looked at Yang Ming with envy. After waiting for a while, they saw Ho Junhan's broken jet roaring. Needless to say, although this car was broken, it wasn't slow. Behind him was a Jinbei big van. Yang Ming pressed the horn twice. Ho Junhan was a little surprised when he got off the car. He found out that this was Yang Ming's car. But he didn't ask much. He just said, "Brother Yang, I brought 8 people. Is it enough?" "It should be enough. You follow me in a while," Yang Ming said. Chapter 465. Although Yang Ming's sports car could go faster, because he had to take care of Ho Junhan, the speed couldn't be increased. Moreover, there was a speed limit on the highway. Yang Ming couldn't go faster even if he wanted to. Lin Chongqing's mobile phone was also turned off. There was no way to contact him now. The only way for Yang Ming to find him was to find Dafa Hotel according to the address provided by Shen Yueping. This was a very secluded alley. Yang Ming found such a place after several inquiries. Dilapidated bungalows and garbage stations. Perhaps every city had such a dilapidated and barren side. Even Donghai, the provincial capital city, was the same. Looking at the 3 cars driving into the alley, the people on the side of the road widened their eyes in surprise, especially Yang Ming's sports car that could only be seen on TV. It made these people, who rarely saw cars in the alley, even more surprised. Dafa Hotel, the name was very rich, but it didn't look like it meant to be rich at all. It was a very dilapidated 2-story building with a plaque that had lost its color. The words Dafa Hotel were written on it, and the hotel was changed later. It was painted with paint. The original words were guest house. Maybe the owner of this hotel wanted to keep up with the times, but the environment of this place was like this. It couldn't be changed to be high-end. "Excuse me, is there a person named Lin Chongqing living here?" Yang Ming walked into the hotel and asked a drowsy middle-aged woman sitting at the service desk inside. "Lin Chongqing." The middle-aged woman glanced at the record registration form beside her. There were only a few guests with this name, so she said, "There is no such person." "Oh. That's not right. That's not right." Yang Ming was stunned. "It is indeed here. Is there only one Dafa Hotel here? Do you think that I can afford to open a branch?" The middle-aged woman shook her head and curled her lips. "Do you too want to stay? The hourly room is very cheap. Of course, if you stay for a long time, I can give you a discount. There is a closed-circuit TV in the room, suitable for you couples to flirt with each other." "Ha!" Lin Jiyun was a little shocked and she heard the middle-aged woman's words. She raised her blushing face and looked at Yang Ming embarrassedly. "What should I do? Dad isn't here, I don't know. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be wrong." Yang Ming shook his head and continued to say to the middle-aged woman, "It doesn't matter if we stay in the hotel. We can take a break." "Oh. That's great. 20 for an hour and 50 for a full day. What do you think?" When the middle-aged woman heard that Yang Ming wanted to stay in the hotel, she immediately perked up. "You can get a discount if you stay for more days, and you don't have to register with your ID card. No need to register with an ID card." Yang Ming suddenly thought of something. Yes, this was not a big hotel. It was just a small hotel. The management of this kind of hotel was very lax. Since they did not require ID cards, many people who came to stay here registered with fake names. The lady boss of this inn also used this to attract young men and women to book a room. Lin Jiyun's father, Lin Chongqing, was now hiding from debt, so it was very likely that he used a fake name. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but open his eyes. The reason why he said that he wanted to stay in the hotel was to get more information from the lady boss. At first glance, this lady boss was the kind of woman who was very mercenary. Before Yang Ming said that he wanted to stay in the hotel, she had a sleepy expression. When he said that he wanted to stay in the hotel, she immediately perked up. Okay, then I will stay for a day. Yang Ming took out 100 yuan and handed it to the middle-aged woman. And I will charge you 100 yuan first. I will give you the change when you check out. The lady boss said. Okay, no problem. Yang Ming nodded and said, Lady boss, I want to ask you something. What is it? Just say it. The lady boss's attitude was very good this time. She was happy to pay the money. This is the case. I have a friend who called me and said that he also lives here. He asked us to come and find him. But you just said that he didn't live here. Let me describe his appearance to you. Yang Ming said. Okay, you say it. I have a lot of people who don't register here. The lady boss nodded. For example, I didn't even register your name when you stayed in the hotel. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. She was the one who opened this hotel. She wasn't afraid of murderers staying here. However, this wasn't something that Yang Ming could worry about, so Yang Ming described Lin Chongqing's appearance. This person. The lady boss fell into deep thought. When you said this, I have a bit of an impression. It seems to be a man who lives on the second floor. He is in his 40s. I don't know the specific name. He didn't register. I don't know if he is the Lin Chongqing you are looking for. He just went out and hasn't come back yet. Lin Chongqing just came back from eating a bowl of noodles outside. Before he entered the door of the hotel, he faintly heard that someone seemed to be talking about him. Lin Chongqing was immediately shocked after hearing it. He quickly stopped and didn't dare to go in. He leaned on the door and looked inside carefully. When he saw that the people who came were Lin Jiyun and Yang Ming, he was relieved and pushed the door in. Jiyun, Yang Ming, why are you here? Asked Lin Chongqing. Hey! It's him. Is he the person you are looking for? The lady boss knew that these two groups of people knew each other, but she didn't forget to do them a favor. Uncle Lin, your room is upstairs, right? We also got a room. Let's go up and talk. Yang Ming knew that this wasn't a place to talk, so he said this. Okay. Lin Chongqing nodded. Let's go up and talk. Yang Ming thanked the lady boss and went upstairs with Lin Chongqing and Lin Jiyun. Yang Ming's room and Lin Chongqing's room were diagonally opposite each other, so they were quite close. Yang Ming first glanced at his room. The environment was okay. The outside of this hotel didn't look good, but the inside was clean and tidy. It was just that the TV was obviously an antique. Ho Jinhan and the others didn't care about it. It was the same wherever they stayed. They also got a few rooms together. The lady boss was so happy that she fainted. There were so many customers all of a sudden. Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun came to Lin Chongqing's room. After closing the door, Yang Ming asked, Uncle Lin, I heard from Auntie Shin that you are in trouble. What happened? AI. Lin Chongqing sighed and said, This matter, I have to start from the beginning. It turned out that the hotel where Lin Chongqing originally worked was closed because of the fight between Bao Sonli and Yu Xiangde. Lin Chongqing was naturally laid off. Not long after, one of Lin Chongqing's original workmates found Lin Chongqing and said that there was a good job for him. This workmate was in Donghai, doing business with a boss. He heard that his monthly income was more than 10,000 yuan. Lin Chongqing was moved when he heard it. He quickly rushed to Donghai. Under the introduction of his workmate, he joined a company called Rini Trading and became a sales manager. Although there was no base salary, and the commission was very low, only 5/1000ths of the business volume, the company's trade volume was very large. It was a business worth hundreds of thousands of yuan. Because of the absolute price advantage, Lin Chongqing, a newcomer, easily won 2 big business deals worth more than 100,000 yuan. He did well, and his commission was more than 1,000 yuan. Moreover, he also established a good cooperative relationship with these 2 trading companies. A few days ago, Lin Chongqing signed 2 deals worth more than 1 million yuan with these 2 companies. Because it was the second cooperation, everything went smoothly. The other party also paid a 20% deposit in accordance with the contract requirements. Lin Chongqing was very excited. If these 2 business deals were successful, then he could get a commission of more than 10,000 yuan. However, the good times didn't last long. When the 2 companies were rushing for goods, Lin Chongqing was shocked to find that his boss had disappeared. At that time, the 2 companies didn't care about this. They found Lin Chongqing and asked him for goods. If there was no goods, he would refund the money. Otherwise, they would sue him in court. Lin Chongqing was scared. He quickly found this small hotel to hide first. He didn't know what to do. "Uncle Lin, where is the contract you signed? Do you have a copy?" Yang Ming listened to Qin Chongqing's narrative, and his heart sank slightly. This was obviously a typical example of a shell company. They cheated once and left. They cheated the salespeople under them. Contract. Yes, I have a copy of every contract here. Wait a moment. I will show it to you. Lin Chongqing listened to Yang Ming's words and quickly took out a stack of contracts from a briefcase on the bed and handed them to Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't look at anything else. He just glanced at the first party, and his heart sank. The first party didn't write the name of the Rini company, but his name, Lin Chongqing. Looking at the contract again, Yang Ming's mood was even heavier. Although Yang Ming wasn't a legal expert, he could roughly understand the terms written in the contract. None of them were against the Rini company. Instead, they were all against individuals. If an individual violated the contract, what would happen? Chapter 466. After reading the entire contract, Yang Ming broke into a cold sweat. "Uncle Lin, how can this contract be signed in your personal name? Not the company." "No, our salesmen sign contracts in their own names." Lin Chongqing's expression didn't have the slightest problem. The boss said that this can effectively distinguish which order is made by who. It is also easy to calculate the commission. What is this reason? Which order is made by who, this can be recorded casually. There is no need for the salesman to sign the contract in his personal name. Yang Ming's current mood could be imagined. No wonder the 2 companies didn't look for the Rini Trading Company, but specifically looked for Lin Chongqing. "Uncle Lin, the current situation is not very good. This contract is obviously a trap for you. If the company's boss runs away, then the responsibility will be all on you." Yang Ming shook his head and said, "How can it be?" Lin Chongqing was stunned. "Didn't I sign the contract on behalf of the company?" Yang Ming was a little speechless. It seems that Uncle Lin's legal awareness is very low. He can't even see through such a simple fraud. "Uncle Lin, this contract doesn't mention the so-called Rini Trading Company from beginning to end." Ah. Lin Chongqing was shocked when he heard Yang Ming's words. "Really? Then, wouldn't the two companies ask me for money? Isn't the current situation like this? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. But things shouldn't be that bad. You tell me about your boss, such as if you have a photo of him in your hand. There is no photo. I haven't seen what the boss looks like. When our company holds a meeting, it is in the form of a remote phone call. We sit in the office and listen to the boss instructions. Lin Chongqing said, we only know that he is May. We all call him President May. President May. Yang Ming shook his head. It must be a fabricated name. Listening to this posture, how is it similar to a telephone pyramid scheme? And their other workmates said that the boss is called Mei Rini. Lin Chongqing nodded. Mei Rini. No benevolence. This name was too classic. It was comparable to Wu Qiren's name. One was heartless, and the other was shameless. The current situation is not good. Forget it, where are your other coworkers? Is there anyone who knows more inside information? Yang Ming asked. I don't know. They are all hiding. Many of them are also victims. They don't dare to run out. Lin Chongqing shook his head. What should we do? Your contract is. Let me see. The amount is 4 million yuan. 20% should be 480,000 yuan. Don't be angry. We can just pay them 480,000 yuan. Yang Ming comforted him. How can that be? So much money, how can I let you pay? Lin Chongqing was taken aback and hurriedly refused. Yang Ming gave Lin Jiyun a look and asked her to speak. He was afraid that Lin Jiyun would be embarrassed, so he deliberately left some time for Lin Jiyun to adjust her mentality. To be honest, the reason why Yang Ming chose a room when he got a room was also intentional. Yang Ming felt that he and Lin Jiyun could probably go further. The current time couldn't be said to be very ripe, but it was an opportunity after all. Yang Ming decided to take advantage of this opportunity to improve his relationship with Lin Jiyun. In this way, Yang Ming could take care of her more justifiably. Pushing open the door of the room, Yang Ming saw Lin Jiyun sitting on the bed watching TV at the moment. There was a smile on her mouth. Yang Ming glanced at the program on TV. It was an American cartoon, SpongeBob SquarePants. Yang Ming smiled slightly and sat next to Lin Jiyun. Is it good? Hee hee, it's so interesting. Lin Jiyun couldn't help but laugh. The little snail in it is so cute, which one? Is it that little snail? Yang Ming pointed to the cartoon character on TV and asked. Yeah, it's him. SpongeBob SquarePants' little snail. Lin Jiyun nodded. Yang Ming accompanied Lin Jiyun to watch TV for a while. This cartoon was really funny. Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh for a long time. After the cartoon was over, it was a lengthy advertisement. Do you want to change the channel? Asked Yang Ming. I don't know where the remote control is. Lin Jiyun smiled bitterly and shook her head. I was looking for it just now. I watched the advertisement for half an hour, and I finally found a fun cartoon. What? Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He quickly looked for the TV remote control. Fortunately, the space here was limited. Yang Ming rummaged through the desk and finally found a shabby remote control. Yang Ming pressed the volume button. Fortunately, there was nothing wrong with it. Here. Yang Ming handed the remote control to Lin Jiyun. I'm going to the toilet. I drank too much water just now. Okay. Lin Jiyun took the remote control and changed the channel. This hotel should be equipped with a satellite TV. Lin Jiyun hadn't seen many of the channels. There were also some channels that spoke in English. Lin Jiyun couldn't even understand the subtitles. Ah, ah. There was a sudden sound of ecstasy from the TV. Lin Jiyun was shocked. She almost threw the remote control on the ground. The sudden strange sound made Lin Jiyun's face turn red for no reason. Looking at the content on TV again, Lin Jiyun was so embarrassed that she couldn't show her face. A foreign woman was sitting on the body of a foreign man, moving up and down, back and forth at high speed, and exaggeratedly moaning sounds came from her mouth. At this moment, Lin Jiyun certainly understood what the two people on TV were doing. Lin Jiyun wasn't a kindergarten girl. She knew a little about the matters between men and women. However, Lin Jiyun was a little curious. The woman on TV seemed to be very comfortable. Was it so exaggerated? Lin Jiyun frowned and recalled her experience. Chapter 467. When Yang Ming came to the bathroom, it was actually because his cell phone vibrated in his pocket. Yang Ming took out his cell phone and glanced at it. It was a message from Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming, where are you? Why don't I see you? Yang Ming quickly dialed Chen Mengyan's cell phone. After 2 rings, Chen Mengyan picked up. Yang Ming. Where are you? Asked Chen Mengyan. I'm outside. I have something to do. Yang Ming said, I'm now in Donghai. Oh. Why did you go to Donghai? When will you come back? Chen Mengyan was a bit puzzled. She saw Yang Ming in the cafeteria in the morning. Why did he go to Donghai in the afternoon? Something happened to a friend of mine. Yang Ming said, I may have to stay here for a few days. Don't worry. Okay. Chen Mengyan said, then you be careful. If you need anything, call my dad. I understand. Yang Ming felt sweet in his heart. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming washed his face and then went out of the bathroom. Lin Jiyun blushed as she watched the exaggerated performance on TV. This hotel is really unbearable. How can there be such a channel? Although Lin Jiyun was cursing in her heart, her eyes were staring at the TV screen without blinking. Curiosity can sometimes kill a cat or even an elephant. Lin Jiyun looked at the person on TV, but her heart couldn't help but association with herself. That time, other than pain, there was still pain. It wasn't as refreshing as the woman on TV. Lin Jiyun shook her head in doubt. She looked at the woman on TV and looked at herself. Could it be that Asians are different from Europeans and Americans? And the figure does seem to be different. The woman on TV is much more voluptuous than me. I can't say voluptuous, I should say that it's scary. Those breasts. Lin Jiyun sweated profusely. When Yang Ming came out of the bathroom, he was a little stunned. He listened to the sound from the TV, glanced at the image on it, and then glanced at Lin Jiyun, who was blushing but was watching the TV with great interest. Yang Ming almost couldn't stand still and sat directly on the ground. Wasn't this too much of a mystery? Lin Jiyun watched this kind of program. Yang Ming opened his mouth wide and stared blankly at Lin Jiyun. Just like that, Lin Jiyun watched the TV, Yang Ming watched Lin Jiyun, and watched the TV. It was unknown who the TV was watching. After a long while, Lin Jiyun recovered from her dazed state. She suddenly thought that Yang Ming might have come out of the toilet without knowing why. She quickly looked back in the direction of the toilet, but she saw Yang Ming with his mouth wide open. Ah! Lin Jiyun was shocked. She quickly pressed the remote control with her hand to change the channel. She didn't expect that the next channel was even more intense. It was the United States before, but this time it was Japan. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as the American blockbuster, it was more realistic. The sound of squeaking came from the TV, making Yang Ming stunned. Could it be that Lin Jiyun likes this kind of music? Yang Ming shook his head, baffled. Jiyun, do you like to watch this? Ah, no. Lin Jiyun quickly pressed the remote control again. This time, she accidentally pressed the wrong key and pressed the volume button. The sound on the TV increased by several decibels. Dang dang dang. At this moment, the door was knocked. Young Ming, Jiyun, are you asleep? It was Lin Chongqing's voice. As luck would have it, the man on the TV suddenly sped up, and the woman screamed madly, "Ugh!" Lin Chongqing was immediately speechless. Apparently, he also heard the sound in the room. You guys, play first. I will go back first. Lin Chongqing was very embarrassed. Seeing his daughter and son-in-law doing that kind of thing, he couldn't help but sweat. When he returned to the room, his face was still a little hot. Lin Jiyun saw that changing the channel didn't work, so she had to press the switch of the remote control to turn off the TV. Just now, my father. When Lin Jiyun thought of this, she was so embarrassed that she didn't know what to do. She pulled the quilt on the bed and covered her head. Jiyun, what are you doing? Yang Ming wasn't as embarrassed as Lin Jiyun. Ah. I don't want to live anymore. Lin Jiyun screamed, I can't see anyone, what's wrong? Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. Isn't it just watching an adult TV show? What's so great about it? I have seen it too. I know that you won't believe me no matter what I say. Lin Jiyun said in a hurry, but I really didn't watch it deliberately. I know. Yang Ming said in his heart. If you didn't do it deliberately, why did you watch it so intently? Do you believe me? Lin Jiyun asked curiously. I believe. You are definitely not a perverted woman. Yang Ming said. Lin Jiyun smiled bitterly in her heart. My performance just now seemed to be a perverted woman. Well, Jiyun, don't think so much. Just watch it. It's not a big deal. We are all adults. It's not wrong to know something about this. Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun was shy, so he persuaded her. But my father just now. Lin Jiyun felt helpless when she thought of this. My father must have thought that we were, that's nothing, right? Anyway, Uncle Lin also knows about our relationship. Even if it is us, it doesn't matter, right? Yang Ming said. But I just feel embarrassed. Yang Ming, you really won't make fun of me? Lin Jiyun asked with some concern. Why would I make fun of you? You have done a lot of embarrassing things in front of me. Yang Ming smiled and said, for example, going to the toilet without wearing clothes. You are so annoying. Lin Jiyun laughed and pulled down the quilt from her head. Do you really think it's nothing? What's nothing? Are you talking about your father's matter? Yang Ming asked. Of course, it's nothing. Didn't your father already know that we did that? No, I'm talking about me just now, watching TV. Lin Jiyun whispered, do you think that I am very perverted? No, I think it's normal. Yang Ming smiled and said, in fact, I occasionally watch it. Really? Asked Lin Jiyun. Really? Yang Ming nodded and said, why don't we watch it together now? Go to hell. Lin Jiyun said shyly, who wants to watch it with you? Just now, we watched it together, right? Yang Ming smiled and shook his head. Lin Jiyun rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. The flush on her face hadn't faded yet. This look was unspeakably charming. It made Yang Ming feel a little intoxicated. What are you looking at? Lin Jiyun suddenly found that Yang Ming was looking at her, so she asked uncomfortably. Nothing. I'm just looking at you. Yang Ming said, you are much better looking than the woman on TV, what? Lin Jiyun was a little annoyed. Are you comparing me to the woman on TV? Didn't I say that you are better looking than her? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. That won't do. Lin Jiyun said angrily, I won't be like the woman on TV, indecent. Hee hee. Yang Ming laughed twice. The awkwardness between the two was relieved. Let's go. Let's go to Uncle Lin's room. He seemed to be looking for us for something. Ah. Go to my father's place. Lin Jiyun hesitated. It's okay. Just pretend to be natural. Just act like nothing happened. Yang Ming said casually, if we don't mention it, Uncle Lin will naturally be embarrassed to mention it. And, okay then. Lin Jiyun nodded. She got up and walked to Lin Chongqing's room with Yang Ming. After knocking on the door, Lin Chongqing opened the door and saw Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun appear at the door of his room neatly dressed. He couldn't help but feel a little strange. These two people are quite fast. In just a while, they are already dressed like Wu Jingwang. You too. Lin Chongqing said somewhat strangely. When Lin Jiyun saw her father's strange eyes, she couldn't help but feel hot. She was anxious and explained, Dad, we were just watching TV. We didn't do anything else, watching TV. Lin Chongqing was stunned. He had stayed in this hotel for 2 days. Naturally, he knew what was on TV. However, if two young people were hiding in the room to watch this kind of TV, then what would happen next was self-evident. Lin Chongqing thought that his daughter was embarrassed, so he nodded and said, Oh, watching TV. It's nothing. I didn't hear anything. It was fine if Lin Chongqing didn't say anything. When he said this, Lin Jiyun was even more embarrassed. She said anxiously, Dad, we really didn't do anything. We were just watching TV. Chapter 468. Lin Chongqing said with a smile, What you two do has nothing to do with me. You don't have to report to me. But Lin Jiyun still wanted to argue, but she was interrupted by Lin Chongqing. Well, Jiyun, don't be so childish. You're not young anymore. You're a big girl. It's not shameful to do this kind of thing. Lin Chongqing waved his hand. Let's talk about business. Lin Jiyun had to shut her mouth, but it could be seen that she still wanted to say something, but there was no chance. Uncle Lin, why are you looking for us? Asked Yang Ming. This is the case. I suddenly remembered something. I want to talk to you about it. I don't know if it's useful. Lin Chongqing asked Yang Ming and the others to sit down and said. What is it? Uncle Lin, you must tell me what you can think of so that we can find clues as soon as possible. Yang Ming nodded and said very solemnly. Okay, I just remembered something important. I want to tell you quickly. Lin Chongqing said, when I first entered the company, there was a salesman who didn't want to work anymore. Then, he asked President May to calculate his salary. President May didn't give it to him. Instead, he found someone to teach him a lesson. In our meeting, he said that he and Brother Snake of the Four Snakes gang were good buddies. Whoever dared to make trouble would have their legs broken, for Snake's gang. Yang Ming was surprised and slapped his thigh. Is it related to the Four Snakes gang? I don't know about this. It may be that President May simply said it to scare us. Lin Chongqing shook his head. But I heard from a few more senior workers that President May does seem to have a background in the underworld, so, I got it. Uncle Lin, the situation you thought of is very important. Yang Ming said, if what Mei Rini said is true, then it's not difficult to find him. Really? That's great. Lin Chongqing was very happy when he heard Yang Ming say that the clue he thought of was useful. Uncle Lin, I will call my friend. You talk to Jiyun for a while. If you think of anything else, tell me immediately. Said Yang Ming. Okay, you go ahead. Lin Chongqing said. Yang Ming went to the door and called Ho Jinhan. Some things were better not to be heard by Lin Chongqing and Lin Jiyun. Brother Yang, what's the matter? Ho Jinhan picked up the phone. How is it over there? Asked Yang Ming. The situation is not very good. We can't get in touch with the powerful people in Donghai for a while. The people we are in contact with now are some small punks. Through their introduction, the biggest cannon that we know is just a barkeeper. Ho Jinhan said with some regret, I am afraid that things will have to wait for a few more days, Ho Jinhan was stunned. What a coincidence. Now the guy who is eating with us is from the Four Snakes gang. If that's the case, then I will start with him. Really? How is this possible? Yang Ming smiled. That's fine. You keep an eye on him. Try to get this guy as soon as possible. If you can't do it, you can buy him with money. Don't worry, Brother Yang. I know what to do. Ho Jinhan said. In the room, Lin Chongqing looked at his daughter and asked, Jiyun, you and Yang Ming have to take precautions. You can't just do whatever you want. You are still students. Ah. Lin Jiyun lowered her head shyly. When she heard her father's words, she was shocked. We didn't do it. Lin Jiyun meant to explain that she and Yang Ming didn't do it, but in Lin Chongqing's ears, the meaning became, we didn't take precautions. This can't be, Jiyun. Lin Chongqing said quickly, you are still young. Don't become an unmarried mother, Lin Jiyun was so shy that she stamped her feet. She staggered up and ran to the door. I'm going back to my room, AI. You don't want to listen to what Dad said, but it's for your own good. Lin Chongqing shook his head. Bang! Yang Ming hung up the phone and turned to go back to the room. Lin Jiyun was leaving the room. As a result, they bumped into each other. However, in the eyes of outsiders, it was like Lin Jiyun was acting coquettishly in Yang Ming's arms. Ah! Lin Jiyun subconsciously wanted to break away, but Yang Ming reached out and hugged her. Don't move. Aren't you afraid that your dad will be suspicious? Yang Ming said calmly, we are a couple. There's nothing wrong with hugging, right? Oh. Lin Jiyun listened to Yang Ming's words and had to let him hug her. Uncle Lin, we will go back to the room first. Call us if you need anything. Yang Ming said very naturally. Go ahead. The relationship between the young couple is quite good. Lin Chongqing smiled. Out of the room, Yang Ming did not put down his hand that was around Lin Jiyun's shoulder. It was not until they entered the room that Lin Jiyun realized that something was wrong. What are you doing? Now we are all going back to the room, I forgot. Yang Ming explained casually and put down his hand. Lin Jiyun couldn't help it. She could only believe Yang Ming's words. Donghai, the headquarters of the Four Snakes gang. Brother Snake, you have to help me this time. The police have monitored the train station and the airport. They have also set up checkpoints on the highway out of the city. A fat man said with sweat on his forehead. Brother Wu. Brother Snake sighed. It's not that I don't want to help you, but the situation is not good. Brother Snake, what do you mean? You just look at your brother in trouble and don't care. The fat man called Brother Wu said with a gloomy face, if I go to the police station, you won't have a good time either. This Rini company is planned by both of us together. The money earned is also split in half. Don't worry, brother. Brother Snake patted Big Fatty Wu's shoulder and smiled. How can I not care about you? Aren't you safe now? But I have been stuck here for a few days. I can't stand it. Big Fatty Wu said with a bitter face, isn't this going to kill me? It's only been a few days, and you can't bear it. Brother Snake said with a glare, count how much money we have earned during this time. 10 million per person. This money is enough for you to live a carefree life. It is enough even to go abroad. But what is the use of having money? Is there no place to spend it? Big Fatty Woo said. Why are you in such a hurry? Brother Snake said with a smile, do you think the police have nothing else to do all day long? Just to wait for you at the station and the airport for a long time. After this period of time passes, I will send you to the south. At that time, you will be able to live a carefree life. Okay. Big Fatty Woo nodded. I will listen to you. Is this the right way? How can a person who does great things not learn to endure? Brother Snake said with a laugh, you can only be a superior person after experiencing hardships. If you don't endure hardships, how can you enjoy life after suffering? That's right. Big Fatty Woo clenched his teeth. I will endure. Out of Big Fatty Woo's room, Brother Snake whispered to the confidant at the door, watch him closely. Don't let him run away. If this guy falls into the hands of the police, then we are finished. Don't worry, Brother Snake. I will watch him. The confidant nodded and said. And, if he dares to escape, you can kill him if necessary. Brother Snake said fiercely. Ah. Brother Snake, kill him. That's not very good, right? The confidant hesitated. Big Fatty Woo is not very honest. He is a bit too mercenary. I am afraid that this time, I will fall into his hands. Brother Snake sighed. I blame myself for being greedy. That's why I got together with him. Hey, forget it. Don't mention it, I understand, Brother Snake. The confidant nodded very seriously. I know what to do. Good. Brother Snake patted the confidant's shoulder and said, I am relieved when you do things. Brother Snake sighed as he walked. Although he was in the underworld, wasn't there a saying that a gentleman should get his money in a proper way? Not only was this the case for a gentleman, but there were also rules in the underworld. Fraud was despised by people. If you were in the underworld, you could watch the scene and collect protection fees, but if you were in the underworld, then it was a bit unethical. If Brother Snake didn't want to carry forward the Four Snakes gang, he wouldn't cooperate with Big Fatty Woo to do this kind of thing. At that time, his brother also spoke against it, but Brother Snake was hot-headed. Chapter 469. Do you still want to watch TV? Young Ming picked up the TV remote control and turned on the TV. Ah. Oh. Ugh. There was a deafening howl from the TV. Lin Jiyun's small face that had just returned to normal suddenly turned red again. She stared at Yang Ming. You did it deliberately, right? Ah. I didn't. Yang Ming quickly shook his head and denied it. In fact, Yang Ming really didn't mean it. Yang Ming was afraid that Lin Jiyun would be embarrassed, so he wanted to adjust the atmosphere. Didn't she like to watch the cartoon called SpongeBob SquarePants? Then, let's watch it for a while. It was just that Yang Ming ignored the channel that was locked on the TV. It was this program. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. Turn it off quickly. You still want to watch it, right? Lin Jiyun saw that Yang Ming was holding the remote control in a daze. He didn't mean to turn it off, so she yelled at him. Yang Ming listened to Lin Jiyun's words and laughed twice. He began to change the channel. It was difficult to find a normal channel. It was broadcasting a popular TV series, Country Love. It was at the point where Li Dagua was pretending to be a ghost to scare people. The voice scared Lin Jiyun. I say, Yang Ming, you did it deliberately, didn't you? How did you get such a channel? Lin Jiyun was scared by the ferocious Li Dagua on the TV. What does this have to do with me? Yang Ming was helpless. I don't have the ability to predict. As Yang Ming said this, he wanted to continue to change the channel. Don't change it. Just watch this. It's quite interesting. Lin Jiyun stopped him. Yang Ming shook his head. A woman's heart is like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Why did she change her mind in such a short time? Yang Ming sat next to Lin Jiyun and watched TV with her. The time quickly froze at 9:00 in the evening. It was time to sleep. Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun was a little sleepy. She didn't know what to say. It was just a bed. If two people slept together, it was really a bit. Although Lin Jiyun felt nothing in her heart, she still couldn't put it on the surface. Yang Ming looked at Lin Jiyun, who yawned. He couldn't help but be amused. He knew what she wanted to say. Are you sleepy? Rest early. You sleep first. I'll sleep on the sofa. Yang Ming pointed to a shabby single sofa in the room. Ah. Although Lin Jiyun also felt that this was the best solution, she couldn't bear it when she saw the narrow and shabby sofa. Yang Ming was helping her father, but she let him sleep on the sofa. It was a bit unreasonable. But to let him sleep on the bed, she really couldn't say it, so she had to say, "Why don't I sleep on the sofa?" Girlfriend. When Lin Jiyun heard such a sensitive word, she couldn't help but feel a little dizzy. If I have a girlfriend, then I don't have to sleep on the sofa. Lin Jiyun shook her head. Sun Jia didn't answer and asked directly, "How is it?" "It's not very smooth. We will talk about this later." "Why are you looking for me?" If it wasn't a last resort, Yang Ming still didn't want to trouble Sun Jia. Although the relationship between the two was very special, it was precisely because of this special relationship that made Yang Ming feel like he was living off a woman. "One of my men said that he found some news about the person you are looking for." Sun Jia said, "When are you going to see him?" "What? You found him? So fast." Yang Ming was surprised and immediately rejoiced. Wu Qiren's news was too important for him. "The person doesn't seem to have been found yet, but I got some news. I don't know the specifics. I will give you the person's phone number. You can contact him," said Sun Jia. "Okay, you say it." Yang Ming felt that his hands were trembling. He was really excited. His phone number is 1330x times x times x. Sun Jia said, "You can call him Uncle Sun or Third Uncle. Just say that you are my friend." "Uncle Sun. Is he a relative of your family?" Yang Ming was stunned. "He is my family's old butler. He is very good to me." "It's okay." Sun Jia smiled. "He is almost 50 years old. You will definitely not lose out if you call him uncle." "Okay, I understand." Yang Ming said, "Thank you, Sun Jia." "Didn't you say it? Why do you still need to thank me for our relationship?" Sun Jia didn't forget to make fun of Yang Ming. Is it? Well, when will we go to the bathroom of the Nightless Club next time?" Yang Ming smiled. "Next time? There won't be a next time. Even if there is, we won't go to that kind of place." Sun Jia smiled and hung up the phone. It made Yang Ming feel a little overwhelmed. What does Sun Jia mean? Is she hinting at me? But this chick. Yang Ming shook his head. Sun Jia's character is so weird. She doesn't even know how to joke with me. Doesn't she know that it is easy for people to misunderstand? In fact, Yang Ming misunderstood. Sun Jia was just joking with him. For others, let alone joking, it was difficult to even laugh. Yang Ming dialed Uncle Sun's phone number according to the number given by Sun Jia. After 2 rings, the phone was connected. Hello. Who are you looking for? There was a low voice on the other side. He asked directly. Is it Uncle Sun? Asked Yang Ming. I am. May I ask who you are? Sun San was stunned. Over the years, there were not many people who called him Uncle Sunday. Except for Sun Jie, it was Sun Jiwei. There were 2 brothers in the Sun family. One was Sun Jie's father, Sun Hongjun, and the other was Sun Jiwei's father, Sun Qingjun. Sun San wasn't originally called Sun San, but because he was the Sun family's butler, he changed his name to Sun San, which meant that he was the 3rd brother. Although Sun San was a butler, Sun Hongjun valued him very much. Sun San was never married in his life. He was busy with the Sun family's affairs, so Sun Jie and Sun Jiwei respected him very much. Chapter 470. However, only Sun Jie and Sun Jiwei called him Uncle Sun or 3rd uncle. The people in the underworld respectfully called him 3rd brother or 3rd master. 3rd uncle was a very strange title. Therefore, when he heard that the other party wasn't Sun Jie or Sun Jiwei, Sun San had some doubts, but his wording was also a lot more polite. Uncle Sun, I am a friend of Sun Jie. She gave me your phone number and asked me to look for you, said Yang Ming. Oh. I know. You are the one who wants to inquire about a person, right? Asked Sun San. Yes, it's me. Uncle Sun, I heard that you have news on your side. Yang Ming couldn't wait to ask. And there is some news. I also took some photos. If you have time, come and take a look. Is it this person? But this person isn't called Wu Qiren. I don't know if he is the person you are looking for. Sun San said. Uncle Sun, are you free now? Yang Ming was very anxious. It should be said that he was very anxious. If he knew the whereabouts of Wu Qiren, he might know the whereabouts of Suya. In Yang Ming's heart, he always had an indescribable feeling for Suya. It was the kind of lingering and unforgettable feeling. It wasn't love, but it was purer and more persistent than love. It wasn't friendship, but it was closer than friendship and more moving. Yang Ming didn't know if he loved Suya because in Yang Ming's memory, Suya was still a little girl. Yang Ming didn't think that he had any hobby like a lolicon. In that young age, there was no love. It could only be said that he liked or had a good impression. However, Yang Ming couldn't forget Suya. It was unforgettable. Now. Well, you come to 188 Zhongjin Road. There is a private club here. You don't have a membership card. If the guard doesn't let you in, just call me. Sun San said, I will wait for you here. Okay, I will go now. Yang Ming said quickly. Can you find it? Sun San asked, you're not from here, right? I'm from Songjiang, but I have navigation. It's fine. Yang Ming said. Alright, then I'll see you in the hall, Sun San said. Yang Ming didn't say goodbye to Lin Jiyun. He went downstairs alone and drove Sun Jie's Audi R8 away from the Dafa Hotel. During New Year's Day, Chen Afyu and his family returned to his grandmother's house in Donghai. It just so happened that the hotel where he worked had a break, so he had 10 days of holiday. Tonight, Chen Afyu and the whole family were watching TV at Grandma's house. Coincidentally, he also saw the part where Li Dagua pretended to be a ghost to scare people. Chen Afyu's suppressed desire in his heart suddenly burst out. Chen Afyu's eyes lit up. He slapped his thigh and looked at Li Dagua, who was pretending to be a ghost on the TV. Don't mention how excited he was. Bosom friends, this is fate. A series of nouns flashed in Chen Afyu's mind. I can't take it anymore. Chen Afu knew that he was going to explode again. He had to go out and vent tonight. Chen Afu struggled to stay awake until his family was asleep. Then, he found a black raincoat in his grandma's broken cupboard and a pair of rubber gloves from the toilet. After doing these, Chen Afu felt that it was not enough. He went to his brother's room, which was now a utility room. After rummaging in it for a long time, he finally found a yiksha mask that he used as a child. Chen Afu smirked, then he tiptoed out of the house with a full set of top-grade equipment. Although Chen Afu also knew that every time he had an outburst, the perverted desire in his heart was stronger than before, but Chen Afu couldn't help it. He fell deeply in love with this perverted behavior. The desire in his heart drove him to continue on a path of no return. Chen Afu couldn't control it because it was so exciting that he couldn't extricate himself from it. Dong Hai should be safe, right? Chen Afu thought, Song Jiang was turned upside down by me last time. The hospital was guarded by police everywhere, which made Chen Afu not dare to do anything. But now it was Dong Hai. I have never done a case here. There shouldn't be any police who would notice me, right? However, even if this was the case, Chen Afu didn't dare to choose a place too close to his home to commit the crime. He didn't dare to take a taxi. He was afraid that the taxi driver would suspect something afterward. Therefore, Chen Afu strolled aimlessly on the street, looking for his target. Generally speaking, hospitals, resorts, and the like were the best places for him to start. The people there were more mobile. Moreover, people sleeping in a strange place would be more or less suspicious at night. If he pretended to be a ghost to scare them, the shock effect would naturally be strong. Chen Afu could be said to have grasped the commonality of human beings and the weakness of the fear of the unknown. Seeing a ghost in one's own home and a ghost in a resort, the degree of fear was definitely different. Although Chen Afu lived in Dong Hai for a while when he was a child, in the past few years, Dong Hai, as the provincial capital city, had developed rapidly. Many streets and buildings had changed their names and shapes, so Chen Afu was also in the dark. As he walked, he came to a dilapidated alley. Chen Afu looked up and was happy. It was really a case of searching high and low only to find it by chance. What came into view was a hotel, Dafa Hotel. Chen Afu glanced at the structure of the hotel and smiled. This kind of two-story old building could be climbed to the platform of the second floor from the side. Chen Afu's skill was dexterous. He climbed to the platform of the hotel quickly. Yang Ming said Zhongjin Road in the car's navigation and then followed the voice instructions to come to Zhongjin Road, number 188. The appearance here looked like a private villa. Yang Ming drove the car directly to the door of the villa. He didn't expect that before Yang Ming got off the car to explain, the security guard at the entrance of the clubhouse opened the door. Yang Ming found it a bit strange, but he still drove the car in. Maybe they also recognized Sun Jie's car, just like the last time at Sun Jie's company. Yang Ming parked the car in the parking lot. When he got off, a middle-aged man happened to come down from a Mercedes-Benz S600 next to him. The middle-aged man's gaze stopped on Yang Ming's car and then stopped on Yang Ming's face. I am Sun San, the person you are looking for. Sun San looked at Yang Ming with a complicated look in his eyes. Sun San naturally recognized that Yang Ming's car was Sun Jie's, and this was what surprised him. Yes, Sun Jie's car had never been lent to a man to drive. Sun San was clear about Sun Jie's past, so he naturally knew that the miss hated men. Now, Sun Jie's car was lent to a young man to drive. What did this mean? Moreover, Sun Jie would hardly trouble him to do anything. This time, Sun Jie had told him several times to do his best for this young man. This couldn't help but make Sun San suspicious. Uncle Sun. Yang Ming was stunned, and then he thought that Sun San might have recognized Sun Jie's car, so he smiled and said, I am Yang Ming. Nice to meet you. Hello. Sun San took the initiative to reach out and shake hands with Yang Ming. Sun San wasn't usually so warm to people. He was only polite to people from the Sun family. The reason why he was so polite to Yang Ming now was that he had doubts about the identity of Yang Ming. What was the relationship between him and the Miss? Looking at the situation, from Sun Jie's approach, she definitely wasn't just an ordinary friend relationship with this young man named Yang Ming. This person might be the future son-in-law of the Sun family, the future helmsman of the Sun family. It was because Sun San was also very clear about Sun Jiwei's situation. He was a hopeless person. The Sun family couldn't count on him in the future. Although Sun Jia was very capable and strong, she was still a woman after all. The Sun family still needed a man to support it. Therefore, this was the fundamental reason why Sun San was so polite to Yang Ming. Yang Ming also saw that the identity of this old man wasn't simple. When he saw him shaking hands with him, he quickly reached out and lowered his body to shake hands with him. No matter what the status of this old man was, since he was Sun Jie's elder, Yang Ming had to lower his posture, not to mention asking for help. Let's go in and talk. Sun San shook hands with Yang Ming and pointed to the clubhouse. This clubhouse doesn't seem to have many people. Yang Ming looked at the empty parking lot and asked. This is the Sun family's private clubhouse. Only people with a membership card can come in. Sun San explained, you could come in just now because the guard saw the Miss car. If that's the case. Yang Ming nodded and confirmed his thoughts. He walked into the clubhouse with Sun San. Chapter 471. Walking into the clubhouse, Sun San took Yang Ming to a VIP private room. It could be seen that the waiters in the clubhouse were very respectful to Sun San, and they were also very polite to Yang Ming. From this point of view, this should be the industry that the Sun family invested in. Master San, Mr. Yang, please come in. The waiter opened the door of the private room and said respectfully. Okay, you can leave. I will call you again if there is anything. Sun San nodded and said to the waiter. Okay, Master San. The waiter bowed and left. Yang Ming sat on the sofa next to the coffee table in the private room with Sun San. Mr. Yang, can you see if this is the person? Sun San put a package on the coffee table and said, the photo you provided us was taken a few years ago. This person looks different now, but the outline is similar. Yang Ming couldn't wait to open the package and took out the photo inside. Yang Ming's brows suddenly frowned. Yes, this person must be Wu Qiren. His appearance had been deeply engraved in Yang Ming's mind. Yang Ming would never forget it for the rest of his life. Although Wu Qiren was fatter than before, his face was round, and his stomach was fat, but the general appearance hadn't changed. It was Sun San's first time seeing Wu Qiren. Maybe the person in the photo didn't overlap with the person in reality. This person isn't called Wu Qiren. According to the investigation of the brothers, this person's name is Mei Rini. Said Sun San. What? Yang Ming was shocked. He almost threw the photo in his hand to the ground. Mei Rini. Even if he is Mei Rini. Sun San saw Yang Ming's expression and was very puzzled. What's wrong? Do you know this Mei Rini? I don't know, but I'm looking for him. Yang Ming nodded and said, are you sure this person is called Mei Rini? I don't know if his real name is Mei Rini, but many people in the underworld know him. He is a subordinate of the Four Snakes Gang's boss, Cobra. He is almost like a military advisor, said Sun San. For Snakes Gang. Yang Ming sneered, that's right. It was him. Humph, who would have thought that Wu Qiren is Mei Rini, and these two are the same person? What? You have enmity with this Mei Rini? Sun San asked curiously. It can be said that enemies often cross paths. I didn't expect that these two people were the same person. How could there be such a coincidence? Yang Ming smiled and said, "This is good, it saves me a lot of trouble. Mr. Yang, I don't know what your identity is, but I still want to remind you that this Mei Rini is very favored in front of Cobra. If you want to touch him, I'm afraid Cobra won't agree." Sun San reminded, "He is Cobra's money tree." "Cobra? Is he called Brother Snake?" asked Yang Ming. "And, the people in the underworld call him that. But for me, he is just a junior. If there is anything you need help with, you can ask." With Sun San's current identity, he wouldn't easily promise anything to anyone. However, seeing Sun Jie's attitude toward Yang Ming, Sun San still instructed. This was also because of Sun Jie's face. "Brother Snake. Humph. He won't agree. I'm afraid it's not up to him." Yang Ming sneered twice after listening. Sun San's face didn't have any other expression, but his heart was very shocked. The Four Snakes gang was definitely nothing compared to the Sun family, but they were also a second-rate gang in Donghai. The young man in front of him didn't seem to put the Four Snakes gang in his eyes. This couldn't help but make Sun San surprised. "Well, if you need anything, you can call me," Sun San said calmly. "Thank you." Yang Ming nodded to Sun San. "I am very grateful for this matter." "You're welcome. You are a friend of the young lady." Sun San looked at Yang Ming and said faintly. Yang Ming didn't understand what Sun San was actually hinting at. He was just a little puzzled. "Your young lady has so many friends. If she were to trouble you, wouldn't you be busy every day?" Today, Yang Ming's heart was particularly at ease. Not only did he know the whereabouts of Wu Qiren, but he also knew that Mei Rini was actually Wu Qiren. That's good. I don't have to waste the second time. I can settle the new and old accounts together. Looking at Yang Ming's Audi R8 disappearing into the night, Sun San fell into contemplation. After a long while, he took out the phone and dialed a number. "Hello. Old San, what's the matter?" a calm voice asked. Of course, only Sun Hongjun or Sun Qingjun could call Sun San like this. At this moment, the person who answered the phone was Sun Hongjun, the current head of the Sun family. "Master, there is something I want to tell you," said Sun San. "Is it important?" "If it's not important, let's talk about it tomorrow. I'm tired and have already rested," Sun Hongjun said faintly. "It's about the young lady," Sun San said quickly. "Oh." Sun Hongjun's voice immediately rose a little. For Sun Jie's matters, he was still very concerned as a father. "What's the matter? Say it." "A while ago, the young lady asked me to help find a person in Donghai. I didn't care at the time, so I ordered the people below to do it." Sun San said slowly, "But the young lady urged me many times. She said that it was about a very good friend of hers. She asked me to hurry up, so I used the power of our family, and continue." Sun Hongjun said that he was listening very carefully. "In less than a day, that person was found," said Sun San. "What's the matter? Such a small thing, you don't have to report to me in the future. Little Jia has grown up. As long as it's not too much, I don't object. You can check for me." "I'm relieved." Sun Hongjun shook his head and smiled. "No, Master, I just talked about the general situation first. I just saw the young lady's friend in the private clubhouse on Zhongjin Road." Sun San continued, "It's a young man." "Oh." Sun Hongjun was interested. "A man? How old is he?" "He seems to be about the same age as the young lady, but I didn't inquire about the specifics. Sun San replied. I know. Little Jia should make some friends of the opposite sex. Sun Hongjun said calmly. Master, I think it should be more than an ordinary friend of the opposite sex. The man drove the young lady's Audi R8, and the young lady also said that he is a very good friend. Sun San added quickly. Really? Sun Hongjun pondered for a long time. No one knew what he was thinking. Sun San didn't dare to answer. He just waited on the other side of the phone. After a while, he heard Sun Hongjun continue, What's the man's name? What does he do? The man is called Yang Ming. I don't know what he does. It is said that he is from Songjiang. Sun San replied. Check. Check this person named Yang Ming and tell me. Sun Hongjun ordered. I understand, master. Sun San promised. Don't do anything after you find out. Sun Hongjun instructed. I understand. Sun San nodded. He had been the butler of the Sun family for so many years. He naturally knew what to do and what not to do. On the way, Yang Ming called Sun Jia to express his gratitude. Sun Jia smiled indifferently. You want to thank me, right? Then promise me one thing. What? Yang Ming was in a good mood today and asked, As long as I can do it, just say it. I can't say it now, but I'll take it as you promise. Sun Jia said. You haven't said what it is yet. How can I promise? Yang Ming had some doubts in his heart. This Sun Jia, is she digging a hole for me to jump into? But you just said it yourself. If you can do it, just let me say it. Sun Jia said, You can do this, and it's easy. Okay. Yang Ming thought about it and nodded. In any case, Sun Jia had helped him a lot. If she really had something to ask of him, then he really couldn't refuse. That's fine. Call me when you go back to Songjiang. Sun Jia said, I have a call coming in here. Let's talk later, okay, goodbye. Yang Ming put down the phone. Sun Jia hung up the phone and picked up the call that was in the waiting state. Little Jia, it's your dad. Sun Hongjun's voice came from the phone. Oh. Dad, it's so late. Why are you calling me? Sun Jia asked with some doubts. You should be asleep at this time, right? I miss you, so I called you. Can't I? Sun Hongjun laughed heartily. Chapter 472. Yes, why not? Although Sun Jia said so, she felt weird in her heart. What happened to my dad today? Little Jia, do you remember Guo Dongchuan, the son of Jiduan City's Guo Jinbiao? Sun Hongjun said, Today, Guo Jinbiao called me again. Guo Dongchuan is very satisfied with you. When are you going to meet again? No need, right? I'm not satisfied with him. Sun Jia directly refused. Can you not mention this? Little Jia, you're not young anymore. Even if you don't get married, you should find a boyfriend first. I think Guo Dongchuan is not bad. He looks talented. He's a good match for you. Dad, how can Guo Jinbiao be the same as our family? Sun Jia said with some annoyance, although our family is involved in the underworld, we're just manipulating behind the scenes. His family is pure underworld, isn't that the same? Sun Hongjun smiled. It's hard for you to find another existence like our Sun family. How can it be so easy to be a behind-the-scenes boss? Dad, anyway, I don't like him. Don't mention this again. Sun Jia said with some impatience. Little Jia, then do you have a boyfriend? You don't like Guo Dongchuan? Sun Hongjun asked tentatively. I have a boyfriend. Who did you hear it from? Sun Jia was stunned. It has nothing to do with this. If I don't have a boyfriend, it's impossible to be with Guo Dongchuan. If you don't have a boyfriend, you can try to consider Guo Dongchuan. Right, he has gone to Songjiang to find you. Sun Hongjun said. What? You asked him to come. Sun Jia was a little depressed. Why did I ask this guy to come? It's not me. He wanted to go by himself. Sun Hongjun smiled. However, if you have a boyfriend, you can reject him legitimately. Forget it. Let him come. Sun Jia shook her head. The current situation in Songjiang is so unclear. He still dares to come. Isn't he afraid of being hacked to death? The word hacked to death came out of Sun Jia's mouth without any pause. It could be imagined what Sun Jia had heard and witnessed since she was a child. This is not clear. His identity is indeed very sensitive. He is different from you. Although you are my daughter, you have always been in Songjiang, and you are a girl. If Guo Dongchuan wants to go, then it's hard to say. Sun Hongjun smiled. This old fox probably wasn't optimistic about the relationship between Guo Dongchuan and Sun Jia, so he was so indifferent about Guo Dongchuan going to Songjiang. Right, I asked Yongli to pass a message to Bao Sanli. However, it seems that the power structure of Songjiang is very strange. Although Bao Sanli is in charge, his words don't seem to count. Sun Jia said, I found out that the legal name of the Ming Yang Company is Ho Jinhan. He is the second in command of the gang. Well, I have also heard of this. You continue to follow up on this matter and see if you can draw them in. This will be of great benefit to our position in Donghai. When it comes to business, Sun Hongjun also changed his tone. I know. I will continue to inquire. Bao Sanli hasn't replied yet, said Sun Jia. Lin Jiyun was very tired today. She was about to fall asleep in bed when she suddenly heard a few regular, dang dang dang, sounds of glass being knocked on. In the beginning, Lin Jiyun didn't care, but this sound was too strange. It was as if it was in her ears, and it kept echoing, dang dang dang, dang 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 dang. Lin Jiyun opened her sleepy eyes in a daze and looked in the direction of the sound. It didn't matter when she looked. God, a ghost face was sticking to the window of her room, using its yellow palm to knock on the window regularly. Ah! Lin Jiyun screamed. Her sleepiness was gone all of a sudden. She looked out of the window in horror. Ha 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 ha. Chen Afu made a strange laugh. This laugh was specially practiced by him. If one were to listen to it alone, it would sound very strange, but when combined with the current situation, it was extremely frightening. Lin Jiyun looked at the unknown thing outside the window in horror. She shivered on the bed and wanted to scream, but she didn't dare to scream. She was afraid of provoking the anger of that thing. G. There was another burst of weird laughter. Chen Afu searched for a target for a long time before he found Lin Jiyun, a single woman. The other rooms were either men or couples. It wasn't suitable for Chen Afu to commit crimes. It was cool to scare some weak people. When Chen Afu saw Lin Jiyun's pale and frightened face, the pleasure in his heart was indescribable. Lin Jiyun had just watched the clip of Li Dagua pretending to be a ghost in the rural romance movie. She was already a little scared. Now, such a ghost thing suddenly appeared on the window. Lin Jiyun was even more scared. Am I so unlucky? I just watched a horror movie, and I really saw a ghost. Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun shouted subconsciously. She now hoped that Yang Ming could appear in front of her. Right, this person in front of me can't be Yang Ming pretending to be a ghost, right? Thinking of this, Lin Jiyun couldn't help but hesitate. In theory, this possibility didn't exist. Yang Ming wouldn't pretend to be a ghost to scare her. Her intuition told Lin Jiyun that Yang Ming wasn't such a bored person. However, Lin Jiyun had also read in a novel that a man and a woman were a couple who went out to play together. The two people stayed in a hotel room, but the relationship between the two people wasn't close enough to share a bed. Therefore, the male protagonist took the initiative to propose to sleep in the bathroom, so the two went to sleep separately. But the male protagonist was unwilling. He had been planning for a long time. He wanted to take advantage of this trip to play and take another step forward with the relationship with the female protagonist. So, he thought of a very dirty way, which was to pretend to be a ghost to scare people. So in the middle of the night, he wore a strange costume and pretended to be a ghost. He jumped in front of the hotel window to scare people, scaring the female protagonist. In this way, when the female protagonist was extremely scared and didn't dare to sleep alone, she could only ask the male protagonist for help. The male lead swaggered onto the scene. In order to comfort the female lead's wounded heart, he openly slept on the same bed as the female lead. Then, naturally, something happened. So, thinking of this, Lin Jiyun couldn't help but think. Was this planned by Yang Ming? However, this possibility seems to be very slim. Yang Ming, he shouldn't be so dirty, right? However, Lin Jiyun was still skeptical and asked tentatively, Yang Ming? Is it you? Ha 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 ha. Chen Afu naturally couldn't hear what Lin Jiyun was saying. Seeing that she spoke, he scared her again, Yang Ming. Is it you? Lin Jiyun asked in horror, if you want to sleep on the bed, you can just say it. There is no need to be like this. Yang Ming. Ha ha ha. Chen Afu continued to laugh wildly and made a variety of strange movements. You, who are you? Lin Jiyun saw that the thing outside the window didn't answer, and she began to be afraid again. Yang Ming. Stop playing. I'll let you go to the bed. Lin Jiyun's voice had a sobbing tone. She really hoped that this thing in front of her was Yang Ming in disguise. But unfortunately, the thing in front of her didn't listen to her. He was still dancing wildly. Lin Jiyun's sweat had wet her clothes, Kata. The door of the room made a sound. Lin Jiyun shivered again. It can't be, right? This thing came in. But he is now on the window of the room. Jiyun, are you calling me? Yang Ming heard Lin Jiyun's voice in the corridor, so he quickly walked to the door of the room and opened the door. Because Chen Afu was now behind the hotel, when Yang Ming parked the car downstairs, he didn't notice that there was another person on the second floor. Ah! Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun's voice changed. There was unspeakable joy, but there was also some worry. This damn thing really isn't Yang Ming in disguise. Then, what is it? Lin Jiyun pointed to the window and shouted to Yang Ming, you come quickly. What is that thing? It scared me. Yang Ming quickly looked up in the direction of Lin Jiyun's finger. He saw a ghost face on the window. He didn't know what it was shouting. Yang Ming wasn't as timid as Lin Jiyun. When he saw the guy on the window, he couldn't help but frown. He looked directly with his special ability. Yang Ming was amused when he saw it. Ha, it's actually you again. Chapter 473. Ha! Chen Afu. It's you again. Motherfucker, you pretended to be a ghost and came to my door again. It seems that you really need to be taught a lesson. If I don't beat you up, you won't feel comfortable, right? In the room, Lin Jiyun didn't turn on the light, so she saw Chen Afu outside very clearly with the moonlight. However, when Chen Afu outside saw her, it wasn't so clear. So, when Yang Ming came into the room, Chen Afu didn't see clearly. He still did what he wanted to do to scare people. Yang Ming went straight to the window and knocked on the window a few times. "Ah!" Chen Afu was stunned. "I was just enjoying scaring people. Why did a Yang Ming suddenly appear?" When Chen Afu saw Yang Ming, his legs and stomach would cramp. "This guy is really my nemesis. Every time I see him, nothing good happens." Moreover, the most unfortunate thing was that Yang Ming didn't seem to be afraid of ghosts at all. He didn't care about his current image at all. Chen Afu was so scared that he almost tripped and fell down the stairs. Fortunately, he was holding the rainwater pipe on the window of the second floor. Otherwise, he would probably be half dead. Yang Ming took advantage of the time when Chen Afu was in a daze. He opened the window of the room and jumped on the window. Then, he kicked over and kicked Chen Afu directly downstairs. Fortunately, this small second floor wasn't very high. Chen Afu fell down and landed on the shed below. He didn't suffer much damage. However, he couldn't escape with bruises all over his body. Yang Ming jumped directly from the window. This height was a piece of cake for Yang Ming. When he came to Chen Afu's side, Yang Ming raised his hand and lifted him up. He said coldly, "Motherfucker, why are you next to my window? Are you itching for a beating?" "Woo-woo. I'm a ghost." Although Chen Afu knew that Yang Ming wasn't afraid of ghosts, he still shouted subconsciously. "Get lost. Don't do these useless things with me." Yang Ming aimed at Chen Afu's butt and kicked it until Chen Afu screamed, "What are you doing by my window? I'll ask you one more time." Yang Ming asked fiercely. I'm just scaring people." Although Chen Afu's current identity was that of a ghost, he was still afraid of someone as unreasonable as Yang Ming. He couldn't even speak properly. Scaring people. Yang Ming was stunned. Did this kid have nothing better to do? On such a cold day, did he come out to scare people by pretending to be a ghost? It didn't seem possible, right? It could be seen that Chen Afu was quite afraid of him. It was impossible for him to come here just to scare him. That meant that Chen Afu was just randomly scaring people. If the first time at the West Star Mountain Resort, Chen Afu had threatened Chen Mengyan in order to retaliate against him, that was still acceptable, but now, thinking of this, Yang Ming frowned and asked, "Do you know who I am?" "Yes." "No, I don't know." "Master, how would I know who you are?" Chen Afu almost spilled the beans and quickly changed his words. He didn't dare to admit that he was Chen Afu. If Yang Ming knew that he was Chen Afu, he would beat him half to death. "If you don't know, why did you scare my wife?" Yang Ming glared and scolded him. "How would I know that she is your wife? I just found a random person to scare." Chen Afu smiled bitterly. He said in his heart, "Why am I so unlucky? I actually met Yang Ming. Randomly found. Are you crazy? You didn't sleep at night and came out to scare people? Is it fun?" Yang Ming said angrily. "It's okay." Chen Afu didn't dare to answer that it was fun, but he also didn't dare to answer that it wasn't fun. He had to give an ambiguous answer. "It's okay. I think you are really crazy." Yang Ming scolded and slapped Chen Afu again, almost knocking off the mask on his face. Chen Afu was so scared that his heart trembled. "Master, please forgive me." Chen Afu almost knelt down in front of Yang Ming. "Go upstairs with me." Yang Ming grabbed Chen Afu and said coldly. He lifted his leg and walked in the direction of the hotel. "Master, what are you going to do to me? I really didn't mean it. Please forgive me." Chen Afu exclaimed. "Go and apologize to my wife. Otherwise, I will stuff you into the ditch." Yang Ming glared at him and said, "I will go. I will go now. As long as you don't beat me. Chen Afu nodded quickly. He didn't see how much effort Yang Ming put in, but he quickly took Chen Afu to the door of the room on the second floor. In the hotel, the lady boss had already dozed off, so no one noticed Yang Ming. Chen Afu looked at Yang Ming, who carried him like a chicken. He was secretly shocked. Isn't this Yang Ming's strength too big? Yang Ming carried Chen Afu into the room and threw Chen Afu on the floor. Chen Afu suddenly fell flat on his face. Yang Ming, he. When Yang Ming went down to catch the ghost, Lin Jiyun had been looking outside from the window. When she saw Yang Ming subduing the ghost, Lin Jiyun also faintly understood something. That is, this ghost was disguised as a human. Now that she saw Yang Ming carrying a fake ghost up, she was somewhat inexplicable. Although she knew that this ghost was fake, she still timidly took a few steps back. What are you thinking about? Yang Ming kicked Chen Afu's butt again and scolded, I asked you to come up. Are you sleeping? Ah. Chen Afu was kicked until his anus almost cracked, but he didn't dare to make a sound. He had to endure the pain and begged, Big sister, I was wrong. I shouldn't pretend to be a ghost to scare you, fuck. Yang Ming kicked again and said unhappily, You call me grandpa and call her big sister. She is my wife. Aren't you giving me a random order? Do you want to be kicked? No, don't kick anymore. If you kick me again, I will die. Chen Afu quickly said, Grandpa, Grandma, okay. I was wrong. I beg you to forgive me. Okay, get out of here. Yang Ming didn't wait for Chen Afu to get up by himself. As soon as he finished speaking, he threw him out of the window and closed the window. He no longer cared about Chen Afu's life or death. There was a reason why Yang Ming dragged Chen Afu up to apologize to Lin Jiyun. Lin Jiyun had just been frightened. Although she probably knew that this ghost was pretended by a person, the effect wasn't as good as the person who pretended to be a ghost admitting it personally. In order not to leave any shadow in Lin Jiyun's heart, Yang Ming dragged Chen Afu up. You just threw him out like that. Will he fall to his death? Lin Jiyun looked at Chen Afu, who flew out of the window and couldn't help but ask with some worry. You still care about him? When he scared you, why didn't he worry about you? Yang Ming said indifferently. Why did he want to scare me? Lin Jiyun still had some lingering fear. Who knows? Is he crazy? Yang Ming snorted. I'm sorry, Jiyun. I'm late. I let you be frightened. Ah. Yang Ming's words made Lin Jiyun very ashamed. Yang Ming was such a decent person. How could he do such a dirty thing like pretending to be a ghost? I just wanted to accuse the ghost of being pretended by Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Lin Jiyun's face was hot. She said with some embarrassment, It's my own fault. I was actually scared by a fake ghost. Well, it's over. That guy won't dare to come again. Go to sleep. Yang Ming smiled and said, I'm sleepy, too. After that, Yang Ming walked in the direction of the sofa. Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun looked at Yang Ming's back as he turned around and suddenly shouted. What? Yang Ming turned around and looked at Lin Jiyun and asked, Is there anything else? Nothing. Lin Jiyun bit her lip and didn't speak. Then go to bed early. As Yang Ming said this, he came to the sofa, sat on it, and closed his eyes. Lin Jiyun lay on the bed, but she couldn't sleep. Although she knew that the ghost was pretended by someone, there was still some discomfort in her heart. This was like watching a horror movie. Obviously, she knew that it was purely fictional, but after watching it, she was still scared. Lin Jiyun lay on the bed, tossing and turning. When she closed her eyes, she saw Chen Afu's scary ghost face and big yellow palm. Who? Lin Jiyun took a long breath. Her heart was beating so fast that she couldn't sleep peacefully. It seemed that what was written in the novel was really reasonable. Lin Jiyun now had an impulse to let Yang Ming accompany her to sleep. Moreover, this idea was very strong. After hesitating for a long time, she finally mustered up the courage. Can you sleep with me? Lin Jiyun asked softly with a red face. Chapter 474. Yang Ming didn't sleep. He was thinking about Mei Rinnie and Wu Qiren. When he heard Lin Jiyun talking to him, he subconsciously replied, but he didn't hear what Lin Jiyun said. What did you say? Can you come and sleep with me? Lin Jiyun clenched her teeth and repeated it. Ha! Yang Ming was stunned and asked, me and you? Sleep together? I mean to sleep in the same bed. Seeing that Yang Ming seemed to have misunderstood something, Lin Jiyun quickly explained. One bed. Yang Ming looked at Lin Jiyun. Isn't one bed the same as sleeping together? I mean, I'm afraid. Lin Jiyun hesitated and said, I don't dare to sleep by myself. Can you lie next to me? Poochie. Yang Ming looked at Lin Jiyun's shy and cute appearance and couldn't help but smile. So you are afraid? You're still making fun of me. Lin Jiyun said with some anger, it's fine if you don't want to accompany me. Who said I don't want to accompany you? You're my girlfriend. Naturally, I have to accompany you. Yang Ming said seriously. This Chen he appeared at the right time. Isn't this creating an opportunity for me? Who's your girlfriend? Lin Jiyun whispered. Aren't you? Yang Ming opened his eyes and looked at Lin Jiyun. Lin Jiyun didn't know how to answer Yang Ming's question. The relationship between the two people was very complicated. It didn't seem to be a couple, but what if it wasn't? The two people were now a couple in name. It seemed that in reality, they were like a couple. Oh. Then I'll ask Uncle Lin. What is the relationship between the two of us? Yang Ming smiled. Annoying. Lin Jiyun glared at Yang Ming. That's good. You can come up, but you're not allowed to take off your clothes. Take off my clothes. It's so cold, and the heating in this hotel isn't good. Do you think I like to run around naked? Yang Ming said helplessly. Then, you come up. Lin Jiyun nodded and said. Yang Ming smiled, lifted the quilt, got on the bed, and lay side by side with Lin Jiyun. You won't move around when you sleep, right? Lin Jiyun asked carefully. I've always been very honest when I sleep. Do you want to learn from Liang Shanbua and Zhu Yingtai and put a bowl of water between us? Yang Ming joked. No need, but I don't sleep well. Lin Jiyun said in a low voice. Yang Ming was helpless after listening. Lin Jiyun. Under her seemingly stubborn and strong appearance, there seems to be a cute side to her. The childish Lin Jiyun made Yang Ming feel more intimate, and he had an impulse to love her. Feeling the breath of Yang Ming beside her, Lin Jiyun finally fell asleep, looking at Lin Jiyun, who was breathing evenly and sleeping soundly with a smile on her mouth. Yang Ming shook his head with some emotion. Finally, one day, I can share a bed with her again. Although the relationship between the two people hadn't broken through to that step, but at least it showed that Lin Jiyun had accepted me in her heart. In fact, what Yang Ming was most afraid of was that the incident at the beginning would leave a psychological shadow on Lin Jiyun and make her unhappy. Therefore, after Yang Ming knew Lin Jiyun's true identity, he didn't expose it. Since Lin Jiyun wanted to hide it, then he would cooperate with her. In the beginning, when Yang Ming contacted Lin Jiyun, he was careful, fearing that she would be disgusted with him. But with the passage of time, it seemed that Lin Jiyun had let go of the previous resentment. Today, he could sleep with her. This was a good sign. It proved that Lin Jiyun had no defense against him in her heart and had begun to accept him. He couldn't help but touch Lin Jiyun's smiling face with his hand. Yang Ming also fell asleep in happiness. Since the beginning of Fang Tian's training, Yang Ming woke up early every morning. Of course, except for the holidays. During the holidays, Yang Ming subconsciously indulged himself. Yang Ming was shocked to find that there was a person in his arms. At this moment, Lin Jiyun was curled up in Yang Ming's arms, sleeping soundly. One of her legs was riding on Yang Ming, making Yang Ming dumbfounded. Yang Ming tried to move his body, but Lin Jiyun wasn't willing. She snorted and murmured, "Don't move, cold." Yang Ming was a little confused. He didn't know if he should get up quickly before Lin Jiyun woke up, or continue to hold Lin Jiyun like this. Of course, in Yang Ming's heart, he was more inclined to hold Lin Jiyun. Yang Ming didn't want to let go of a rare opportunity to get close to her. Besides, Yang Ming himself enjoyed holding Lin Jiyun very much. However, if Lin Jiyun woke up in a while, then it would be a bit troublesome. Yang Ming hesitated. His mind turned quickly, and he finally came up with a more bad idea. That was to pretend to sleep and let Lin Jiyun wake up first. Thinking of this, Yang Ming closed his eyes again. He first covered Lin Jiyun with the quilt. His hands held Lin Jiyun's body in his arms again, and he pretended to sleep. Unknowingly, Yang Ming really fell asleep again. When he woke up again, it was already 10:00 in the morning. Yang Ming subconsciously glanced at his side. Lin Jiyun was no longer there. Looking at the two quilts on his body, Yang Ming shook his head. It must be Lin Jiyun who covered me. But when did she wake up? Why don't I have any impression of it? It seems that going back to sleep is really harmful. However, this is also good. It saves some embarrassment. I don't know what Lin Jiyun's expression will be when she sees me hugging her when she wakes up. Yang Ming got up and found that Lin Jiyun wasn't in the room. She must have gone to Lin Changqing's place. Yang Ming went to the bathroom to wash up, then he put on his coat and went out of the room. Sure enough, Lin Jiyun was watching TV in Lin Changqing's room. When she saw Yang Ming come in, her face was slightly flushed. Yang Ming, you're awake. And, did you sleep well last night? Yang Ming asked as if he didn't know anything. I was fine. Lin Jiyun said with some embarrassment. Last night, I didn't squeeze you, right? Yang Ming smiled. No. Lin Jiyun looked at her father next to her and gave Yang Ming a look, asking him not to say such embarrassing words. That's good, but I seem to have a dream. I dreamed that I was being ridden like a horse. Yang Ming scratched his head and pretended to be casual. Ha 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 ha. As soon as Yang Ming's voice fell, Lin Changqing laughed. Needless to say, it must be Jiyun's doing. This girl has been sleeping restlessly since she was a child. Her legs always press on her mother's body, and her mother always had such a dream. Dad. Lin Jiyun looked at her father and quickly stopped him. Don't say it. I'm not like that, hee. Yang Ming isn't an outsider. What can't you say? Lin Changqing waved his hand. Okay. Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun was already very embarrassed, so he gave up the idea of continuing to make fun of her. He changed the topic and said, Jiyun, Uncle Lin, have you eaten? I have eaten breakfast. I bought the soy milk in the morning market downstairs. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I don't have much appetite. Lin Changqing said, Yang Ming, how is my matter? Don't worry, Uncle Lin. I have found the photo of Mei Rinnie. It should be easy to find him now. Yang Ming saw Lin Changqing's look and knew that he was worried about his matter. If this matter wasn't solved, he couldn't eat in peace. That's good, that's good. Lin Chongqing nodded. Yang Ming accompanied Lin Jiyun to watch TV for a while. After receiving a phone call, he got up and went to Ho Jinhan's room. It could be seen that Ho Jinhan had just woken up not long ago. His eyes were still red. Brother Yang, I'm sorry. I slept for so long. Yesterday, I drank with Big Cannon until midnight. Ho Jinhan saw Yang Ming come in and said quickly. Big Ho, what are you talking about? You went to do something for me. What's wrong with sleeping a little more? Yang Ming waved his hand. Next time, you don't have to be so polite with me. That can't be done, Brother Yang. There must be a distinction between us. You are my boss. Ho Jinhan's words were interrupted by Yang Ming before he finished speaking. Okay, Big Ho, don't say this. How is the matter? Yang Ming asked, did you find the headquarters of the Four Snakes gang? I did find some information, but I don't know which sentence of that guy is true. Ho Jinhan frowned. Chapter 475. This person is very cunning. His words are very flippant. I don't know which sentence is true. Yesterday, he bragged to me as if he was the best in the world. Ho Jinhan shook his head and said, I am not very sure where the headquarters of the Four Snakes gang is, but the Four Snakes gang has 3 slightly larger industries in Donghai. One is the Jin Chunlai Bath Center in the north of the city, the other is the Jojo Disco Bar in the city center, and the other is the game hall upstairs in the Donghai shopping center. If what he said is true, then this is enough. Yang Ming listened to Ho Jinhan's words and said with a smile. Yeah, if their industries are these 3, then the answer is obvious. Ho Jinhan also nodded with a smile. Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Yang Ming and Ho Jinhan said at the same time. Yes, in these 3 industries, the game hall above the Donghai shopping center could not be the headquarters of a gang. It could only be a revenue-generating business site. The rest were the Jin Chunlai Bath Center and the Jojo Disco Bar. However, in terms of geographical location, the city center was a bustling area. Relatively speaking, the management of public security was much stricter than other places. If there were some idle people for a long time, they would definitely be attacked. The Jin Chunlai Bath Center in the north of the city was different. It was a relatively remote place, so the attack was naturally weaker than the city center. It was suitable for some gang members to stay here. Of course, there was another important reason. That was, the Four Snakes gang was not a big gang, and the city center was generally the territory controlled by the big gangs. Therefore, even if the Four Snakes gang had industries in the city center, they would not set up their headquarters in the city center. It was equivalent to openly provoking others, and there would not be any good results. Therefore, it could be seen that the headquarters of the Four Snakes gang must be the Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Of course, this was under the premise that Big Pow did not lie. What did he tell you? Yang Ming hesitated and asked. We drank too much and chatted together. He bragged to me, and I echoed his bragging. Later, he bragged more and more, so he told me some of the things in their gang. For example, he made a great contribution. Brother Snake invited him to eat and then entertained him at the bath center, which was the Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Of course, it's all just a few words. I asked them indirectly. Ho Jinhan said. Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Yang Ming nodded. I got it. Brother Yang, do you need me to call people from Songjiang to help? Ho Jinhan asked. With our current strength, it shouldn't be difficult to destroy the Four Snakes gang. Forget it, I have other ways. Yang Ming waved his hand. Come here. It's not difficult to destroy the Four Snakes gang, but I'm afraid that it will cause dissatisfaction among the other gangs. After all, we have crossed the line. It won't be good if they gang up and attack us. That's true. Ho Jinhan nodded and thought so. This was what he was afraid of now. Right, Sun Jia contacted you through Yang Li, right? Asked Yang Ming. And Bao Sanli called me and told me. I also told him to be polite. Ho Jinhan said, I didn't say much. I just said that she has a relationship with Mr. Y. Although Bao Sanli's character is relatively rough, he should have heard my implication. And, that's good. Yang Ming said as he took out the portfolio that Sun San handed to him last night and handed it to Ho Jinhan. This person is Mei Rini. The Sun family's butler handed it to me yesterday. It should be more accurate. What do you need me to do? Ho Jinhan asked immediately. His heart was horrified. Yang Ming can actually order the Sun family's butler. It seems that the relationship between Yang Ming and Sun Jia is really unusual. I will deal with the Four Snakes Gang's headquarters, but you have to send someone to watch the remaining properties of the Four Snakes Gang to see if there is any news of this person. Yang Ming instructed. I understand. I will send someone to do it. Ho Jinhan nodded. Well, I'm going out to do something. You should be careful. Don't expose your identity. Song Jiang has just stabilized. Don't cause any unnecessary trouble. After explaining some things to Ho Jinhan, Yang Ming immediately drove to the Jinchunlai Bath Center in the north of the city. After setting up the route navigation, Yang Ming drove to a red light according to the voice prompt. Seeing that the signal light turned green, Yang Ming wanted to start the car. Suddenly, a yellow Lamborghini came from behind him. The front of the car stopped directly in front of Yang Ming's car. Creak, it stopped. Yang Ming was stunned. He looked at the Lamborghini in front of the car with some surprise. I don't seem to have provoked anyone in Donghai, right? Moreover, it seems that the people who can drive this kind of car are also rich people. Yang Ming didn't know many of them. Could it be that they think I am Sun Jie? Yang Ming thought about it. The automatic door of the Lamborghini in front of him slowly opened. A young man wearing sunglasses jumped out of the car. He was wearing a fortune-telling suit and a thick gold chain on his hand. This person arrogantly walked to the front of Yang Ming's Audi R8. He patted Yang Ming's car hood and gestured a middle finger gesture. Yang Ming frowned. This person obviously saw me through the windshield, but why is he still gesturing to me? Could it be that he found the wrong person? Is he here for me? In this case, Yang Ming didn't need to endure it. The other person's car was in front of him, and he was arrogantly gesturing to him. Yang Ming wasn't a person who was afraid of trouble. He directly opened the door and got out of the car. You come out. The young man said arrogantly. Who are you? Yang Ming frowned and asked, I don't seem to know you, right? But I know you. The young man smiled with his arms crossed. Do you know me? Yang Ming was a little puzzled. He carefully looked at the person in front of him. He didn't seem to have any impression. Of course. The young master of the Sun family. Even if I don't know you, I know your car. I saw your sister drive it before. The young man said with certainty, Did your sister lend the car to you? What do you mean by my sister? Are you talking about Sun Jie? You made a mistake. I'm not the young master of the Sun family. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. It turned out that this guy said that he was the young master of the Sun family with a car. The young master of the Sun family. Could it be Sun Jiwei? Sun Jiwei, don't pretend. I didn't expect you to be so cowardly. The only male descendant of the Sun family turned out to be such a coward. The young man laughed, ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter. I said, you must have made a mistake. I'm not Sun Jiwei. Young Ming said with some helplessness, is Sun Jiwei as handsome as me? Ha! I have long heard that you are a coward. Don't pretend. I know you are Sun Jiwei. The young man said with certainty, if you weren't Sun Jiwei, would your sister lend you the car? I heard that your sister has a rule. She never lends the car to a man. Of course, if you are her brother, then there must be an exception. Yang Ming was a little dizzy. Sun Jia has this rule. Why haven't I heard of it? Did he manage to borrow the car so easily? Sun Jia didn't hesitate. Is this just a rumor? Generally, beautiful women with status have a lot of rumors. It seems that Sun Jia also belongs to this list. This little brother, I'm really not Sun Jiwei. Do you think I look like that idiot? Yang Ming could only smile bitterly now. Ha, don't think that if you scold yourself I will believe you. All is fair in war. You won't lose anything even if you scold yourself. You can't lose anything. The young man said proudly, you don't have to pretend. I know you are Sun Jiwei. Yang Ming was really helpless. How did I meet such a strange guy? Do I look like Sun Jiwei? Well, then let's say that I am Sun Jiwei. Are you okay? Can you go away? I still have things to do. Yang Ming said with some impatience. Humph, you finally admitted it. The young man was happy as if he had done a great thing. Let's get to know each other. My name is Tian Dongguang. You should have heard of me, right? No, I haven't heard of you. Yang Ming shook his head and said, this is the first time I heard of you. Damn. How is it possible? Am I not famous? Tian Dongguang frowned, touched the back of his head and said with some dissatisfaction. Is there anything else? If there is nothing else, I have to go. Yang Ming said impatiently as he waved his hand. I want to challenge you. Tian Dongguang suddenly posed in a badass and pointed to Yang Ming. Challenge? Are you okay? Yang Ming looked at the young man in front of him with a strange look. Are you stimulated? Did you come out to challenge me? Humph, so what? Aren't you relying on the power accumulated by the previous generation of the Sun family? What are you capable of? What makes you think you can order us around? Tian Dongguang sneered. Chapter 476. Yang Ming looked at the arrogant kid named Tian Dongguang inexplicably. Finally, he sighed helplessly. Forget it. I will show you my driver's license. I am really not Sun Jiwei. As Yang Ming said this, he took out his driver's license from his pocket and opened it in front of Tian Dongguang. Don't lie to me. It's useless. Tian Dongguang said disdainfully, if you are not Sun Jiwei, why did you admit it? I don't want to waste time with you. Yang Ming shook his head and said. Pretend, just pretend. Tian Dongguang looked at Yang Ming mockingly. When you hear that I am going to challenge you, you are scared, right? Are you scared? Are you guilty? You're dispirited, aren't you? You lied to me with a fake driver's license? Do you think I will believe you? I didn't expect the Sun family's young master to be such a coward. Whatever you say. Yang Ming didn't want to waste time with him. You get out of the way. I am leaving. Leaving. Wishful thinking. Tian Dongguang sat on the hood of the Audi R8. You're not done yet, are you? If you continue to pretend with me, I will beat you. Yang Ming threatened. Unexpectedly, Tian Dongguang was not afraid, but he was very happy. Okay, you beat me. As long as you can beat me, I won't stop you. Yang Ming listened to Tian Dongguang's words and smiled helplessly. Only then did he remember that if he beat him up, wouldn't he be helping him? What good will it do for me to beat you up? Yang Ming, who understood, asked coldly. If you can beat me, I will listen to your Sun family's orders in the future. Tian Dongguang said firmly. Sun family? Hee, that is not good for me. Yang Ming said faintly. Intuition told him that this child named Tian Dongguang definitely had an extraordinary family background. If he could really make him listen to him, it would be good. Then I will listen to your young master's son's orders in the future. Tian Dongguang said. Young master's son. I'm not some young master's son. Yang Ming shook his head and put his driver's license in front of Tian Dongguang. Look, I'm not Sun Jiwei. My name is Yang Ming. Okay, then Yang Ming, I will listen to your orders in the future, Yang Ming. Is that okay? Tian Dongguang didn't know why Yang Ming didn't admit that he was Sun Jiwei, but he didn't care so much. Alright, tell me how you want to challenge me. Yang Ming decided to solve the problem before him first. Let's find a place to have a good fight. If you can leave me with 1 or 2 moves, you win. Tian Dongguang said. Find a place. There was no need, right? I think the roadside will do. Yang Ming didn't have time to waste with him. Roadside? No, we are fighting on the road. We can't solve it in a short time. What if the police are called? Tian Dongguang said. You don't need that much time, do you? I think 1 or 2 minutes is too much. Yang Ming said faintly. Oh. You still have some self-awareness. You know how much weight you have. I'm a 9th degree black belt in Taekwondo, humph. Tian Dongguang laughed proudly. Yang Ming pointed to the car and said, drive the car to the roadside. Although this isn't the main road, it will affect the traffic. You won't take the opportunity to run away, right? Tian Dongguang looked at Yang Ming suspiciously. Don't worry. I will definitely do what I promised you. Yang Ming said. No, how about this? You drive my car, and I drive your car. Tian Dongguang thought about it and said. Your car is more expensive than my car. Aren't you afraid that I won't return it to you if I run away? Yang Ming laughed. Ugh, you wouldn't do that, right? Tian Dongguang was hesitant by Yang Ming's words. Okay, drive your own car. Yang Ming waved his hand. He didn't know why, but Yang Ming listened to what Tian Dongguang just said. Sun Jia didn't like to lend the car to a man. Yang Ming didn't want to let Tian Dongguang touch the car. Okay. Tian Dongguang had to believe in Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't lie to him. He parked the car on the roadside and got off. Tian Dongguang also parked the car and walked down. Can we start? Yang Ming looked at Tian Dongguang and asked. Wait, let me do some warm-up exercises. Tian Dongguang said. You are temporarily fighting with others on the road. Do you still have time to warm up? Yang Ming said sarcastically. Ugh. To deal with you, I don't need to warm up. Tian Dongguang said with some embarrassment. Okay, you still need to warm up. Don't be unconvinced when you lose. Yang Ming sneered. Who said I'm unconvinced? I'm afraid you don't have that ability. Tian Dongguang said angrily. Okay, let's start. After Yang Ming finished, he stood in the same place. Attack. Tian Dongguang saw that Yang Ming stood in the same place after he said, start. He couldn't help but be stunned. It was reasonable to say that when 2 people were competing, whoever said, start, first would have more preparation time and reaction time than the other party. It was very advantageous. If you attacked at the moment of the start, you could often take a big advantage, but Yang Ming didn't do this. You don't want to attack first? Tian Donghua asked, baffled. Are you going to fight or not? If you aren't going to fight, I'm going to leave. Yang Ming glanced at Tian Dongguang. It's my business if I don't attack. Humph, then I won't be polite. Tian Dongguang scolded Yang Ming as a fool in his heart. His body moved quickly. Drink. A flying kick kicked at Yang Ming. Fancy but impractical. Yang Ming shook his head in disappointment. He grabbed Tian Dongguang's leg and exerted a little force on one of the acupuncture points. Tian Dongguang's leg went numb and lost consciousness. He knelt directly on the ground. How did you do it? Although the numbness on his leg made Tian Dongguang feel very painful, he still asked. I didn't do much. Your leg was too slow. I hit your numbness. Yang Ming said casually. I lost. Tian Dongguang sighed. Although he didn't see how Yang Ming attacked, a loss was a loss. Tian Dongguang was a particular person. He wouldn't go back on his words because of this. Then can I go? Asked Yang Ming. You can go. This is my phone number. If you have something, you can call me at any time. Tian Dongguang was straightforward. He took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Yang Ming. Yang Ming took the business card, but he saw 5 big words written on it, Tian family's second young master, followed by a string of phone numbers. Yang Ming looked at this business card and fell into deep thought. What a big tone. He actually wrote Tian family directly on the business card. It seems that this Tian family is definitely not simple. Now that I think about it, in Donghai, isn't there only one powerful Tian family? Then, it was related to what Tian Dongguang said before. What about your Sun family? Then his identity was obvious. It seems that this is the Tian family that has been controlled by the Sun family. This Tian Dongguang must be unconvinced by the Sun family. He thought that why should the Tian family work for the Sun family? I don't know where he heard about the Sun family's young master, Sun Jiwei. Then, he happened to see me driving this car, so he thought that I am Sun Jiwei. Okay, I will remember. Yang Ming put away the business card and said, right, I will tell you again. I am really not Sun Jiwei. You found the wrong person. You really aren't. Tian Dongguang was puzzled. If Sun Jiwei was afraid of trouble before, it was possible that he didn't admit his identity. But now, since he had one, was there still a need to hide? That could only explain one problem. That is, the person in front of me is really not Sun Jiwei. No. Yang Ming said firmly. Ah. Tian Dongguang looked at Yang Ming in amazement. He didn't know what to say. Then why are you driving Sun Jiwei's sister's car? Does the driver have to be Sun Jiwei? What kind of logic is this? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Ugh. Tian Dongguang now thought about it carefully. It seemed that what Yang Ming said made sense. It was indeed the case. The driver didn't have to be Sun Jiwei. It was just that he was too subjective. Why? Do you regret it now? Are you still ready to listen to my orders? Yang Ming smiled with some ridicule. A real man keeps his word. Tian Dongguang said, if I said it, I will do it. The most taboo to be a two-faced person who goes back on his word. Up to you. As long as you don't trouble me now, I have to do something. Yang Ming nodded, got in the car, started the car, and left, leaving Tian Dongguang with a blank face. Too ruthless. Too powerful. Tian Dongguang suddenly clenched his fist. His eyes flashed with a blazing light. He said firmly, I must worship you as a teacher. Chapter 477. Yang Ming's inference was not wrong. Tian Dongguang was indeed the second young master of Donghai's Tian family, the very badass Tian family. Tian Dongguang and his brother had been taught by their family since they were young. When they grew up, they would take over the current Tian family's helm and become the new generation's helm. The Tian family's mission was to assist the Sun family. Tian Dongguang's eldest brother was not very interested in the underworld, but Tian Dongguang, the second young master, was very interested in fighting since he was a child. However, he belonged to the kind of tiger, not as smart as his eldest brother. Tian Dongguang's eldest brother was not dissatisfied with assisting the Sun family because he also knew that the Tian family also had the current situation with the support of the Sun family. Although the Tian family's current power had developed greatly, if it was separated from the Sun family, the situation would be different. Although Sun Hongjun controlled the Tian family, he was also recognized by other gangs as the leader in Donghai, so Sun Hongjun could support another Tian family and destroy the current Tian family. However, Tian Dongguang didn't think so. He thought that everything in the family was the result of his father's hard work. The Sun family didn't provide anything, but the Tian family helped the Sun family do a lot of things. Of course, these weren't the main thing. Tian Dongguang also knew that this was the fate of the Tian family. However, Tian Dongguang heard rumors that the young master of the Sun family was a super idiot. He didn't have any ability, but he pretended all day long. Tian Dongguang was not convinced. He thought that the future successor of the Sun family must be Sun Jiwei, and Sun Jia was a woman. If it was Sun Jia, Tian Dongguang would be convinced, but Sun Jiwei was a little unwilling to let such a good-for-nothing lead him. For a while, he had been troubled by this matter. His skills weren't the best, but he could fight against 2 or 3 people. Tian Dongguang respected strength the most, so he decided to find a chance to compete with Sun Jiwei. If Sun Jiwei was really better than him, then he would accept it. Coincidentally, Tian Dongguang suddenly saw the car of the Sun family's eldest daughter, Sun Jia, on the road today, and it was actually driven by a man. According to the rumors, the miss of the Sun family never lent the car to a man. Therefore, Tian Dongguang took it for granted that the driver was Sun Jiwei. If there wasn't this rumor, Tian Dongguang wouldn't be so sure. However, with this rumor and hearing that Sun Jiwei was a brat, it wasn't strange that he mistook Yang Ming for Sun Jiwei. Now, he was defeated by a person named Yang Ming in one move. Not only did Tian Dongguang not have any hatred, but he was unusually excited. He had finally found an expert. If he was willing to be his master, then wouldn't he be invincible in the world? That taekwondo instructor of mine is really trash. What he taught me is just fancy and impractical in the eyes of others. Tian Dongguang was very depressed. He planned to fire the coach when he went home. Let him pack up his belongings and leave. In fact, that coach was really wronged. The second young master of the Tian family couldn't be beaten or scolded. The people who practiced with him didn't dare to do anything to him. They were just perfunctory. Therefore, Tian Dongguang thought that he was quite powerful. Yang Ming drove to the door of the Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Yang Ming went back and forth, and then drove the car away. There were many people who knew Sun Jia's car in Donghai. Yang Ming didn't want to bring any trouble to Sun Jia. Yang Ming circled around the neighborhood and parked the car in a public parking lot. Then he walked to the Jin Chunlai Bath Center. Yang Ming wasn't in a hurry to do anything. Like other customers, he bought a sauna card and then went in to steam comfortably. Of course, even though Yang Ming was sitting there with his eyes closed, he didn't slack off. His eyes kept looking back and forth, X-ray, scanning. Yang Ming had seen Brother Snake, so it wasn't difficult to search for him. Soon, Young Ming found Brother Snake in a room. At this moment, Brother Snake was reading a document on the sofa. Young Ming stood up and walked to the shower. After taking a shower, he put on his clothes and walked quickly to the room where Brother Snake was. This time, Young Ming didn't intend to hide his appearance. Anyway, one day, his identity would be exposed. Moreover, even if he found Wu Qiren, he had to talk to him as Young Ming. At that time, Brother Snake would know him, so this time, he simply didn't wear a mask. It seemed that the security system of the Four Snakes gang wasn't very strict. Young Ming walked in the corridor and didn't stop him. He came to the door of Brother Snake's room smoothly. Young Ming shook his head. Is this Brother Snake too confident or what? If someone has a grudge with him, isn't it too easy to retaliate against him? It had to be said that things were very funny. Young Ming knocked on the door in a civilized manner. Although what he was going to do in a while wasn't very civilized. Who is it? Come in. Brother Snake put down the document in his hand and said faintly. Young Ming pushed the door and walked in. Regardless of what Brother Snake said, he came to the sofa and sat down, staring at Brother Snake coldly. Who are you? What do you want? Brother Snake frowned vigilantly. His hand had already reached behind him. Don't move. It seems that you have a bad memory, said Yang Ming sarcastically. You are. This voice was engraved in Brother Snake's heart. He would never forget it for the rest of his life. Last time, because he wanted to touch the gun, he was stabbed in the hand. There are some things that you just need to know. You don't have to say it. It's not good for you and me. Yang Ming looked at Brother Snake and said slowly. Yes. I don't know what Big Brother. Master, you are looking for me for. Brother Snake said with trepidation. Last time, Young Ming's means had made Brother Snake not dare to have any thoughts of being rash again. Why? Listening to your tone, I can't look for you, said Yang Ming with a glare. No, I didn't mean that. Brother Snake was shocked and said quickly. His eyes were staring at Yang Ming's hand, fearing that Yang Ming would suddenly throw something. Then what are your hands doing behind you? Are you going to shoot me? Said Yang Ming disdainfully. I didn't. I forgot to take it back. Brother Snake heard Yang Ming say so and quickly took his hand out and put it on his head. Yang Ming smiled and looked at Brother Snake. Well, I won't talk nonsense with you. Do you know Mei Rini? Brother Snake heard the name of Mei Rini and was shocked. Now Mei Rini was a wanted criminal by the police. In any case, Brother Snake didn't want to have anything to do with him. Why? You don't want to say it? Yang Ming looked at Brother Snake's expression and knew that he must know some inside information. No. Brother Snake was a bit embarrassed. If he said it, he would definitely be involved. If he didn't say it, he was afraid that Yang Ming would suddenly attack him. Let's talk about it. I am looking for him. You used to cover up for him and collude with him, but I am looking for him, said Yang Ming. Are you looking for him because of the Rini company? Brother Snake asked tentatively. Brother Snake had made up his mind. If Yang Ming was really investigating this matter, then he had to find a way to exonerate himself. This person in front of me is a living ancestor. I can't provoke him. If I provoke him, I will be finished. And this is one aspect. This is not the main thing. As long as he returns the money, then I won't say anything. Yang Ming nodded and said. Then, are you looking for him for other things? Brother Snake breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Yang Ming didn't pursue this matter, then it was fine. Although he had some heartache when he returned the money, it was better than dying, right? His real name is Wuqiren, right? Said Yang Ming faintly. Ah. Brother Snake was shocked. How do you know? After Wuqiren came to Donghai, he changed his name to Meirini. Only Brother Snake, who was familiar with him, knew his original name. Now, Yang Ming suddenly said it. How could this not make Wuqiren surprised? I have to settle some accounts with him. Yang Ming smiled. After so many years, it's time. Yang Ming's words were simple, and his tone was very plain, but Brother Snake felt creepy when he heard it. If I find him for you, can you let me go? Brother Snake had now planned to give up Wuqiren. He was most concerned about his own safety. If Yang Ming came to find trouble with him afterward, then he would be done for. Of course, if you are obedient every time, how can I do anything to you? Yang Ming's brilliant smile in the eyes of Brother Snake became a devil's smile. Chapter 478. That's fine. Brother Snake clenched his teeth. I will take you to him. That's the best. Yang Ming nodded. I hope you don't play any tricks. It will only make you more painful. I know. Brother Snake nodded and said. The layout of this house is quite good, but why do you use a security door? Isn't it too sullen? Yang Ming said as he raised his foot and kicked the security door at the door. Yang Ming used the 1-inch force, so the security door that was opened halfway fell directly from the door frame. However, it was shocking in Brother Snake's eyes. Brother Snake also knew that Yang Ming was demonstrating to him, but he didn't dare to say anything else. He had to say with a smile, yes, you are right. You kicked it well. I will find someone to change it in a while. Yang Ming nodded and said nothing. He went downstairs with Brother Snake. What are you doing? Yang Ming saw Brother Snake take out the phone and asked coldly. I am calling the driver. Brother Snake was shocked by Yang Ming. He almost threw the phone to the ground. Can't you drive yourself? Yang Ming said coldly. Yes, I can drive myself. Brother Snake nodded again and again. Humph, Yang Ming snorted and followed Brother Snake out of the door. Yang Ming didn't go to get Sun Jia's car. As the boss of the Four Snakes gang, Brother Snake definitely knew the car of the Sun family's Mississippi. Yang Ming didn't want to create more problems. In an Audi A6 sedan of Brother Snake started the car and headed to the destination. Where is it? Asked Yang Ming. It's above JoJo Disco Bar in the city center. That is my property. Brother Snake didn't dare to hide anything and said quickly. Sure enough, it is in the territory of Brother Snake. Yang Ming nodded secretly. It seems that my initial idea is also correct. If I really can't find Brother Snake, I can also find Wuqiren by searching in several properties. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived at JoJo Disco Bar. Yang Ming and Brother Snake walked together, and no one asked. Brother Snake took Yang Ming directly to the second floor and then came to the door of a private room. Is Big Fatty Wu inside? Brother Snake asked his confidant who was guarding the door. Yes, and this is. The trusted subordinate saw Yang Ming's expressionless face and asked casually. Motherfucker, this is my distinguished guest. Is it something you can ask? Brother Snake was furious at once. Pa, he slapped the face of his confidant underling. He was afraid that his subordinates would speak carelessly and implicate him. I'm sorry. The confidant was shocked and quickly bowed to apologize. You can leave first. There is nothing for you to do here. Brother Snake waved and said. Yes. The trusted subordinate hurriedly bowed and left. Master. Big Fatty Wu is inside. Brother Snake saw that the confident underling left and said to Yang Ming flatteringly. "N." Yang Ming nodded and responded softly. He just saw the figure of Wu Qiren with his special ability. At this moment, this guy was lying in bed watching TV with a comfortable and chic look. Brother Snake opened the door and shouted inside, "Big fatty Wu, get up. An old friend of yours is here to see you." "Oh. Who is it? Who is it?" Wu Qiren sat up from the bed. When he looked up, he saw Yang Ming standing with Brother Snake. "You are Yang Ming." Wu Qiren frowned and hesitated. Hee, not bad. After so many years, you can still recognize me. "How are you doing, Teacher Wu?" Yang Ming said with a fake smile. "I am fine, fine. Wu Qiren couldn't figure out Yang Ming's background for a while. When he saw him standing with Brother Snake, he didn't know what his identity was now. However, Yang Ming was in the underworld when he was in school before the association. Maybe he was a big shot now, so he had to greet him perfunctorily. "Really? You are very good, but I am not so good." Yang Ming suddenly flew out and kicked Wu Qiren's chest. Wu Qiren's fat body suddenly flew out and fell heavily to the ground. "Ayo!" Wu Qiren screamed. Apparently, he fell hard. There was no other way. The fatter the person, the heavier the fall. Wu Qiren stared at Yang Ming in horror. "What are you doing?" "Nothing much. I just came to see you." Yang Ming said innocently, "You were very good to me in the past. Don't I need to compensate you? Brother Snake, save me." Wu Qiren saw Yang Ming coming over again and quickly called for help. "Save you?" Brother Snake shook his head secretly. "I can't even protect myself now. Why would I save you? If you don't involve me, I will be grateful." So Brother Snake closed his eyes and pretended that nothing happened. "Get up." Yang Ming suddenly grabbed Wu Qiren's collar and lifted him up. A body of less than 200 kilograms was nothing in Yang Ming's hands. Throwing Wu Qiren on the bed, Yang Ming said coldly, "That Rini company was created by you, right?" Yang Ming didn't want to beat him half to death. After all, there were still some things that he didn't understand. If he were to cripple him, it would be difficult to ask. When Wu Qiren heard it, he quickly looked up at Brother Snake, but when he saw Brother Snake's indifferent look, Wu Qiren knew that he was completely abandoned. It turned out that Yang Ming was looking for him through Brother Snake. However, Wu Qiren also thought about it. Brother Snake, don't talk, right? If you don't talk, can you get away with it? In for a penny, in for a pound. Like pouring beans out of a bamboo tube, he told the story of him and Brother Snake conspiring together to establish the Rini company to carry out the fraud. "That's it?" asked Yang Ming. "That's it. Yang Ming, Brother Snake instructed me to do it. It has nothing to do with me. I have confessed, and my part of the money, I am going to return it." These days of suffering also made Wu Qiren somewhat exhausted. The police's pursuit made Wu Qiren almost want to turn himself in. If it weren't for Brother Snake's obstruction, he wouldn't be able to hold on. Now, after being provoked by Yang Ming, Wu Qiren was ready to return the money directly. "What about you?" Yang Ming looked back at Brother Snake. "Uncle, I just said that I am going to refund," said Brother Snake quickly. Wu Qiren couldn't help but be stunned when he heard Brother Snake's words. "No way. So straightforward. Is this the original Brother Snake?" Originally, when I said that I wanted to return the money, Brother Snake wouldn't agree, but now, thinking of this, Wu Qiren had to re-examine the identity of Yang Ming. He actually made Brother Snake so obedient, then Wu Qiren, do you know why I am looking for you?" asked Yang Ming suddenly. Ah, isn't it because of the Rini company? Wu Qiren was stunned. How did Yang Ming forget about it? Of course not. That little thing is nothing. Yang Ming shook his head. I am looking for you because there is a very important thing. As Yang Ming spoke, he stared at Wu Qiren with his eyes wide open, causing psychological pressure on him. Why are you looking for me? Wu Qiren was now different from the past. He had changed from the original high and mighty to a humble tone. Suya wrote a letter to me. Asked Yang Ming. Suya. Wu Qiren was stunned. What letter did Suya write? She wrote a letter to you. How would I know? Really? Lying is not a good habit. Yang Ming said faintly, do you want to try the taste of the human canon again? I really don't know. Wu Qiren looked confused. That's not right, right? You even read the letter in the office. Yang Ming reached out and patted Wu Qiren's face, making a paw sound. Ah. Wu Qiren hesitated for a moment and finally remembered, I read it. Sorry. Yang. Uncle Yang. Seeing that Brother Snake called him Uncle Yang Ming, Wu Qiren quickly changed his words. Where is the letter? Yang Ming really wanted to kick Wu Qiren, but he knew that he couldn't do it now. He had to know the whereabouts of the letter. Letter, how would I know? It has been so long. I'm not a teacher anymore. Wu Qiren said with a sad face. Really? Yang Ming grabbed Wu Qiren's hair with one hand and gave him a big slap with his arm. Then, he said, do you remember? I really can't remember. Wu Qiren almost cried. It hurts so much. My face must be swollen. Really? Then you think about it again. It's okay. I have time. You can think about it slowly. Don't worry. Yang Ming said with a smile. Okay, then let me think about it. Wu Qiren nodded quickly. However, I will take advantage of the time when you are thinking to exercise first. Yang Ming smiled and looked at Wu Qiren. Don't. I remember. Wu Qiren shouted. Chapter 479. You remember it. That's good. Tell me about it. Yang Ming let go of Wu Qiren's hair and sat on the sofa next to him. Teacher Wu, we have no grievances. Why did you take my letter? Why did you read it in the office? Do you think this is cool, or is there something wrong with your heart? Let me think about it again. The sweat on Wu Qiren's forehead flowed down from both sides of his temples. You didn't remember. Then you lied to me just now. Yang Ming snorted and slowly looked back at Yang Ming. No, I just want to organize my words. Wu Qiren said quickly. Then you hurry up. I don't have so much patience. Yang Ming said faintly. I know. Wu Qiren nodded quickly. He frowned and began to think hard. Why are you standing there? Sit down. Yang Ming looked at Brother Snake, who was standing aside stupidly. I don't dare to sit. You didn't ask me to sit. Brother Snake had a sad face. He was faintly unsatisfied in his heart. I'm the boss of a gang. How can I be so spineless? Am I still afraid of him alone? If I ask an underling to come in now, can I control him? Brother Snake struggled in his heart and hesitated. Now, Yang Ming and I are far away, and Yang Ming's attention is completely on Wu Qiren. If I escape, I should be able to, right? However, Brother Snake thought of Yang Ming's extraordinary speed. If I have any trouble, Yang Ming may throw something to greet me. At that time, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my life. Therefore, Brother Snake hesitated again and again. He felt that there was still no need to take risks because now Yang Ming was not targeting Brother Snake, but Wu Qiren. Although this time he must lose some money, Brother Snake was heartbroken, but there was no other way. Now that things had come to this point, it was better for him to spit out the money so that Wu Qiren wouldn't have an accident and he wouldn't be implicated. In other things, Brother Snake didn't touch Yang Ming's bad luck, so it was really unnecessary to confront him head-on. He wasn't noble enough to stand up for Wu Qiren. After figuring this out, Brother Snake sat motionless on the side. He didn't care about what was happening outside. Do you remember it? Yang Ming looked at the time. It had been more than 10 minutes. This Wu Qiren was still thinking hard, so he said impatiently. I remember. I didn't throw away the letter at the time. I just threw it in the drawer of the office. Later, after I was fired, I didn't take the letters away when I cleaned up the desk. There were not only yours, but also some letters from other students. I just threw them together. Wu Qiren said. Then what happened? Asked Yang Ming. Later, after I left, the desk was given to a new teacher. I don't know. Wu Qiren shook his head. Yang Ming was speechless for a while. Isn't this equivalent to saying it in vain? You didn't take it away. Did you leave it to others? Then, would others keep it for you? It seems that those letters have disappeared, Yang Ming sighed. His heart was a little empty. He didn't know what to do. Although he didn't have much hope before, he knew that Wu Qiren couldn't keep those letters, but he just didn't give up. Now that he got a positive answer, Yang Ming was a little discouraged. It had been so long. Is it necessary for me to keep it in my heart? Suya, even if I find her, what can I do? Would the two of them ever be able to return to that pure feeling of being together? Both of us have grown up. We are no longer ignorant young men and women in the past. With the passage of time, some people and some things will be forgotten. Although Yang Ming firmly believed that he didn't forget Suya, what about Suya? Did she forget me? Yang Ming wasn't sure, and he didn't want to think about such a complicated issue. If Suya had feelings for him before, it was true. This was undeniable. Yang Ming was also very sure. It could be seen from the fact that Suya wrote several letters to him. However, her letters were like stones that sank into the sea. What would she think? She must have thought that I had forgotten her, so she would lose confidence in me, leading to the dilution of feelings. Thinking of this, Yang Ming helplessly and unwillingly patted his forehead. Suya, perhaps at this moment, is whispering sweet nothings in the arms of others. If she is interested in me, why didn't she come to Songjiang to find me? Although she left, I didn't leave. If Suya really has feelings for me, why didn't she come to find me? Sorry. Master Yang. I didn't mean it. Seeing that Yang Ming lowered his head and didn't speak, and the expression on his face was unpredictable, Wu Qiren on the side was very worried. He didn't know what Yang Ming was thinking. Please don't vent your anger on me. Forget it. Yang Ming looked at Wu Qiren with some disgust. You go and turn yourself in. I don't want to see you again. I understand. Wu Qiren actually had plans to turn himself in, so he agreed very quickly. Wait. Yang Ming suddenly waved his hand and thought of Xia Shui. Wu Qiren's case is also a big case, right? Didn't Xia Shui, this violent girl, always want to solve a big case? Why don't I give this credit to Xia Shui? But after thinking about it, Yang Ming gave up this idea. Because he suddenly remembered that this was Dong Hai, not Songjiang. Even if he informed Xia Shui, it was useless. She couldn't cross the border to arrest people. After all, this wasn't a case in Dong Hai. You. Yang Ming pointed to Brother Snake and said, "Come out with me. I have something to look for you." "Me?" Brother Snake quickly stood up and followed Yang Ming out of the room. "Master. What are you looking for me for?" asked Brother Snake quickly. "I'm leaving. I have asked what I should ask. I don't want to care about the things between you and Wu Qiren, and I don't have the mood to care about it. You discuss it with him yourself." Yang Ming said faintly. "Oh." Brother Snake was delighted. What Yang Ming said was what he was most worried about. Although the Rini company was started by Wu Qiren, it was also with his own support that it became so prosperous. If something happened, he couldn't stay away from it. Although he could promise some conditions to let Wu Qiren shoulder the matter, if Yang Ming obstructed him, he really couldn't handle it. Now, since Yang Ming said that he didn't want to care about it, that meant that he could do it according to his own ideas. How could Brother Snake not be happy? So he quickly said, "Thank you, Master. You don't have to thank me. You should be honest with me. Don't simply talk about things that you have seen me. I hate people who gossip." Yang Ming glanced at Brother Snake and said, "Do you know what the consequences of gossip are?" "If I know, then your tongue can't be kept." "I understand, Master. You can rest assured. I won't give you any trouble." Brother Snake replied quickly. "It's good that you understand. You're good. I'm very satisfied with today's matter." Yang Ming nodded. "I'm leaving. You don't have to send me off. Take care." Brother Snake looked at Yang Ming's back and breathed a sigh of relief. This god of plagues is finally gone. Motherfucker, how can I be so unlucky? It seems that I have to be a down-to-earth person in the future. Every time something happens, it's because of my impulsiveness and greed. If I didn't want to expand, then there wouldn't be so many problems. Brother Snake couldn't help but wonder. Could it be that this guy was sent by God to specifically go against me? It seems that I should be low-key in the future. Back in the room, Brother Snake quickly convinced Wu Qiren with threats and promises. Brother Snake's conditions were very simple. He promised to settle down Wu Qiren's family and relatives. He promised to help him find someone to take care of him during his sentence so that he wouldn't be bullied by other prisoners. After all, Brother Snake was also a gang leader. He also had contacts in prison. Maybe he could even let Wu Qiren be a prison guard. Therefore, although Wu Qiren hated Brother Snake for betraying him to Yang Ming, Wu Qiren also knew that this couldn't be helped. Yang Ming looked very strong. Even Brother Snake was very afraid of him. However, Brother Snake was afraid of Yang Ming, but he wasn't afraid of Wu Qiren. Therefore, Wu Qiren didn't dare to say anything. Moreover, Brother Snake's conditions were already very good. Even if he involved Brother Snake, there was no benefit. Thinking of this, Wu Qiren also put down other thoughts. He agreed to the conditions of Brother Snake and prepared to surrender. After all, he wanted to reduce his own guilt as much as possible, so Wu Qiren intended to return the money of the deceived people first. Chapter 480. Wu Qiren's plan was not bad. He first showed up in a high-profile manner, and then explained the reason for his disappearance. It was because the upstream supplier had a problem, and he went to deliver the goods. He would compensate for the contract losses caused here one by one. Since Wu Qiren had claimed that he would take responsibility, then those companies who were preparing to sue the salespeople temporarily gave up the intention to sue. After all, someone stood up to take responsibility for the matter, so why would they still target those little salespeople? These little salespeople were just victims, and it was impossible for them to have the money to compensate for their losses. Wu Qiren's move also made the police give up the action of arresting him. After all, Wu Qiren had made it very clear that he didn't disappear after the fraud, but he went to deliver the goods. Although everyone had their own thoughts, since things had developed to this point, there was no direct evidence to prove that Wu Qiren was a fraud. It could only be said that he was hiding from the debt. However, although they didn't arrest him, there were still people watching him. It was impossible to let him escape. After the incident, Yang Ming also saw the relevant reports, but he was too lazy to care about this. Before, Yang Ming could say that he hated Wu Qiren to the bone, but after seeing him, that hatred couldn't be vented. So what if I really beat him up? Will I be satisfied? Not necessarily. Do I have to find a chance to kill him? Yang Ming shook his head. His own state of mind. He didn't know when it started, but Yang Ming didn't care much about these past events. For example, when Yang Ming saw Zhou Jie now, he didn't hate her at all. He just had some knots in his heart. Moreover, Yang Ming had already regarded her as a good friend, therefore, when Yang Ming saw Wu Qiren today, he was really angry. However, after he told him that the letter couldn't be found, Yang Ming was too lazy to teach him a lesson except for some regret. Back at the square, Yang Ming took Sun Jie's car and returned to the Dafa Hotel. The matter is resolved. Yang Ming pushed open the door of Lin Chongqing's room and said with a smile. It's settled. Lin Chongqing was stunned. You paid them the money. It was no wonder that Lin Chongqing would think so. How long had it been? Yang Ming went out and came back. If he went to find Mei Rini, it should be impossible, so there was only one possibility, which was that Yang Ming paid the money to the two companies that sued. Of course I'll lose money, but I won't be the one paying. Yang Ming shrugged indifferently and sat beside Lin Jiyun. Of course, whoever took the money will return it. You mean Mei Rini? Lin Chongqing was stunned. How is that possible? Didn't he disappear? Is he stupid? Why would he come back? I don't know if he is stupid or not, but if he doesn't pay the money, he will face bigger trouble. Yang Ming smiled and didn't say anything. Lin Chongqing was a little confused, but when he heard that Mei Rini was coming back, he relaxed and was very happy. Lin Chongqing didn't know what was going on, but it didn't mean that Lin Jiyun didn't know. She and Yang Ming had known each other for so long. She was still very familiar with Yang Ming's tough means. She guessed that Yang Ming used some extreme means again, right? Just like Bai Hai and Gu Xinyao last time. Lin Jiyun looked at Yang Ming deeply. Yang Ming also felt Lin Jiyun's gaze and winked at her. Lin Jiyun's face suddenly turned red. She quickly turned her head and didn't dare to look at him again. Lin Jiyun didn't know if it was because of the awkwardness last night or because Lin Jiyun hadn't seen her father for a long time. In short, Lin Jiyun was in Lin Chongqing's room when Yang Ming came back in the afternoon. Looking at the father and daughter whispering, Yang Ming didn't want to disturb them. He got up and went to Ho Jinhan's room. On Ho Jinhan's side, Yang Ming had ordered him to withdraw those who were observing. Yang Ming didn't believe that Wu Qiren could escape, because even if Yang Ming didn't watch him, Brother Snake would watch him too. First of all, Brother Snake wanted to protect himself. He definitely couldn't let Wu Qiren escape. Second, if Wu Qiren really ran away, would Yang Ming spare him? Therefore, Brother Snake wouldn't let Wu Qiren have a chance to escape. He would watch him very closely. Yang Ming also figured out this point, so he was relieved to ignore Brother Snake. He didn't expect the matter to be resolved unexpectedly smoothly. Ho Jinhan and the others that he brought didn't need to use them. Big Ho, you go back first. Right, leave your Jetta. You go back with your men on the Jinbei van first, said Yang Ming. Brother Yang, aren't you leaving? Asked Ho Jinhan. I will wait. Uncle Lin still doesn't believe it. I guess the evening news will report this matter. I will wait for the news to come out before I go back. You go and do your things first. I'm not very relieved about Sunjia's side. You go and help me take care of her. Yang Ming instructed. Okay, then I will go back first. Brother Yang, call me at any time if there is anything. Ho Jinhan said as he got up and packed his luggage to leave. Yang Ming took Ho Jinhan's car key and returned to the room. He watched TV in boredom. I can actually receive Phoenix satellite TV here. Yang Ming didn't like to watch these entertainment programs. However, at this time, Yang Ming's eyes stopped on the TV screen. Because a few words were written in big font on the screen, New Year's Day special program, Shuya interview. However, this program was a replay, not a live broadcast. Now, New Year's Day had passed. However, Yang Ming didn't care. He wasn't one of those star chasers who had to watch time-sensitive TV programs. Shuya. Yang Ming put down the remote control and stared at the TV screen with interest. For this celebrity, Yang Ming was still very concerned about her. It wasn't for anything else. It was just because he stupidly spent a lot of money to buy her ring. However, coincidentally, this ring was the one that he gave to Suya in the past. Therefore, Yang Ming couldn't help but pay more attention to this celebrity who had a similar name to Suya. It wasn't that Yang Ming didn't think that this Shuya was Suya in the past, but the difference in appearance between these two people was too big, right? Although they were both sweet people, they were basically two different people. A woman would change 18 times between childhood and womanhood, but at least the outline wouldn't change. This Shuya on TV didn't have any shadow of Suya in the past. Therefore, Yang Ming had to give up his conjecture. It was just that this Shuya wasn't Suya in the past. Judging from the fact that she had the ring that he gave to Suya, there might be some connection between this Shuya and Suya. Therefore, Yang Ming began to pay attention to this person named Shuya. Next, let's welcome our big star, Shuya. This program was a highly rated variety show in Hong Kong. The host was also very popular. Hello, everyone. Shuya walked up to the stage and then sat beside the host gracefully. Welcome, Miss Shuya. Thank you for participating in our XXXX program. The host shook hands with Shuya, and then began to talk nonsense. It was probably some of the latest news about Shuya. After talking for a long time, he changed the topic and asked, Miss Shuya, I heard that in the new album that you are going to release, there is a main song called Our Commemoration. It was written about the ring that you auctioned a while ago. Is that so? Shuya was silent for a while, and then nodded. Yes, I wrote the lyrics for this song myself. Oh. It turns out that this is the case. It seems that the rumors are true. The host pretended to be surprised and opened his mouth exaggeratedly. This song is very sad whether it is the melody or the lyrics. Miss Shuya, since that ring is so important to you, why did you sell it? Can I not answer this question? Shuya sighed and smiled reluctantly. People will always be impulsive, right? I'm no exception. Okay, then let's not discuss this issue. The host also saw Shuya's displeasure. This was a live broadcast. She didn't want to affect the atmosphere of the program because of this. According to XX Weekly's report, someone saw you and Zhong Xiaotian entering and exiting a 3-star hotel. Is this true? Maybe it was a mistake. Shuya showed a surprised expression. There are no photos. How can this kind of news be believed? But anyway, there are rumors that you and Zhong Xiaotian are dating. Is this true? The host didn't forget to dig into Shuya's privacy at all times. Of course not. I have already said that my heart already belongs to someone. Shuya smiled. Can you tell us what he does for a living? The host asked. Chapter 481. He isn't in our circle. Shuya explained faintly. Well, if that's the case, then forget it. The host didn't take it seriously. After all, this had become Shuya's signature excuse to refute rumors. Many people thought that Shuya's heart belonged to someone else was just an excuse. She just didn't want to be involved in scandals. Next, Miss Shuya, please get ready to sing the title song in the new album, Our Commemoration. The host made a gesture of invitation. I remember when you engraved your name on it. You put it on my hand. Our hearts were connected to each other. Yangming listened to Shuya's sad singing, and his mood became heavy. It was as if the person who gave the ring to Shuya in the song was himself. Looking at Shuya on the TV, Yangming couldn't help but be stunned. The door was pushed open. Lin Jiyun walked in and saw Yangming watching TV. She said casually, "You also like to watch variety shows?" Isn't this Shuya?" "Oh." Yangming was stunned and recovered from his trance. "You're back." Dad saw the news. Today, Mei Rini has returned to Rini Company to preside over the overall situation. He held a press conference and said that he didn't disappear a while ago, but he went out to sell goods. He just said that he wouldn't let any company bear the loss. Lin Jiyun said. What? He held a press conference. Yang Ming frowned. He originally thought that Wu Qiren would go to the police station to surrender, but he didn't expect him to play it so cleverly. He easily pushed away his own responsibility. Yeah, Dad was very happy to see it. Lin Jiyun nodded and said. Which channel? Let me see. Yang Ming picked up the remote control and changed the channel. Don't change it. The show is already over. Just watch this show. I also like Shuya. Lin Jiyun said. Yang Ming nodded and put the remote control back. He continued to watch the variety show with Shuya's exclusive interview. Only the host asked Shuya some strange questions, which made Yang Ming a little crazy, but Lin Jiyun watched with relish. After the interview with Shuya, it was followed by an interview with another star. Although the little girl looked good, Yang Ming wasn't interested. He left Lin Jiyun there to continue watching. Yang Ming went to Lin Changqing's room. Uncle Lin. Are you alright? Yang Ming smiled and pushed open the door of the room. And, that's great. Yang Ming, how did you know that he was coming back? Lin Changqing's face was full of smiles. One of my friends is a more powerful local character. I know about it through him. Yang Ming casually turned Brother Snake into a more powerful local friend. In any case, Lin Changqing couldn't find anyone to verify it. I see. Yang Ming, thank you so much this time. Lin Changqing still didn't put the credit on Yang Ming's head. He just thought that Mei Rini had a conscience. Yang Ming didn't want to say this to Lin Changqing. Lin Jiyun could understand some of his own things, but people like Lin Changqing might not be able to understand. Therefore, it was better not to say it, lest he think that his son-in-law was a gangster. It's okay, Uncle Lin. Yang Ming smiled. This is what I should do, isn't it? Jiyun is happy. Lin Changqing nodded and said, right, when are we going back to Songjiang? We can do it now. Yang Ming said, why? Is Uncle Lin homesick? And I have been out for so long. I haven't earned a penny, and I even got into trouble. I really want to go back quickly. Lin Changqing sighed and nodded. Then let's check out now and go back. Asked Yang Ming. Now? Is there a car now? Isn't it at 1:00 in the afternoon? Lin Changqing was stunned. Uncle Lin, I heard from Jiyun that you were a driver in the factory in your early years. Yang Ming also heard from Lin Jiyun that Lin Chongqing could drive, so he left Ho Jinhan's car key. Yeah, I did work as a driver. What's wrong? Asked Lin Chongqing. Then do you have a driver's license? If you have a driver's license, let's drive back now. Yang Ming said. I have a driver's license. I came to Donghai to find a job. Naturally, I brought all these documents. Lin Chongqing said, but, where is the car? Uncle Lin, Jiyun and I drove, but the car can only seat 2 people. I just borrowed a Jetta from a friend, so if you can drive, we can go back now. Yang Ming said. That's great. Lin Chongqing stood up happily and said, what are we waiting for? I will pack up. You go and call Jiyun. Let's go. Yang Ming returned to the room and saw that Lin Jiyun's program had just ended, so he said, Jiyun, pack up. Let's go back to Songjiang now. Oh. So fast. Lin Jiyun was stunned. She didn't expect to leave so soon. Why? Do you still want to sleep with me? Didn't you sleep enough? Yang Ming said mischievously. Stop it. You know I didn't mean that. Lin Jiyun blushed and scolded Yang Ming. She began to get up and pack up. When she and Yang Ming came, they didn't bring anything, so they just checked if they had left anything behind. The 2 people saw that there was nothing left, so they went to Lin Chongqing's room to help him pack his luggage. Lin Chongqing didn't have a lot of things. 1 suitcase was enough. Yang Ming picked up the suitcase, and the 3 of them went downstairs together. After checking out, they left the hotel. Uncle Lin, you can drive this Jetta. Yang Ming put the luggage in the trunk of the Jetta, and then handed the car key to Lin Chongqing. Oh. What about you? Lin Chongqing took the car key and asked. We are driving that car. Yang Ming pointed to the Audi R8 not far away. Lin Chongqing took a deep breath. Although he didn't know how much the car was worth, it wasn't cheap at first glance. Lin Chongqing was secretly worried again. Yang Ming seemed to be extraordinarily rich. Can my daughter be worthy of him? Isn't it just for fun? Although Lin Chongqing also felt that Yang Ming's character was good, no one could say for sure about this kind of thing, so Lin Chongqing decided to remind his daughter to pay attention when he went home. Yang Ming naturally didn't know Lin Chongqing's thoughts. After he got in the car with Lin Jiyun, he started the car. After Tian Dongguang returned home, he asked someone to inquire about Yang Ming. He inquired and inquired, but there was no character named Yang Ming in Donghai. Damn it! Did he make a fake certificate to deceive me? Why can't I find him? Tian Dongguang punched the sandbag in anger. After sending the Lin father and daughter home, Yang Ming called Sun Jia. Sun Jia actually strangled the phone. It was so late, and it wasn't time for a meeting. Why didn't Sun Jia answer the phone? Fortunately, it didn't take long for Sun Jia to call back. Yang Ming, what's the matter? I'm eating outside. I'm back in Songjiang. When will I return the car to you? Yang Ming frowned. Why didn't she answer the phone while eating? However, it wasn't good to ask. Don't worry. I'm eating at the Nightless Club now. It will end around 9 o'clock. Can you pick me up? Sun Jia thought about it. Okay, then 9 o'clock. When Yang Ming heard that Sun Jia was eating at the Nightless Club, his heart was relieved. Sun Jia must have contacted Bao Sanli through Yang Li. Today, Ho Jinhan was back, so it was normal for them to have a meal together. As for why the phone was cut off just now, it was because although Sun Jia was strong, it was better to be polite in other people's territory. It was probably because she was toasting, so it wasn't convenient to answer the phone. After hanging up the phone, Young Ming looked at the time. There were still 2 hours before 9 o'clock, so he drove directly to Red Flag High School. Young Ming didn't forget the character that Lon Ling's grandmother gave him to monitor the gatekeeper, Uncle Ma Xiaoyao. Young Ming passed by the roadside supermarket and went in to take 2 bottles of Wuliangye. He thought about it and put it down again. My relationship with Uncle Ma isn't very good. If I suddenly give him a big gift, it will definitely arouse his suspicion. So, Young Ming simply took 2 bottles of low-grade white wine, paid the money and left the supermarket. In this way, it could be said that someone gave it to me, so I gave it to him. It was also reasonable. Young Ming came to the door of Red Flag High School and knocked on the door. After a while, Uncle Ma came out with drunken eyes. He looked at Young Ming and said, Young Ming, why are you here? Chapter 482. Someone gave me 2 bottles of white wine, so I brought them for you. Young Ming smiled and said, open the door. Hee, you are very considerate. Uncle Ma nodded with a smile and then opened the door. Young Ming walked into Uncle Ma's guard room with 2 bottles of wine and then put the wine on the table. Why? Do you have something to ask me? Uncle Ma glanced at Young Ming and asked. Nothing. I just came to see you. Young Ming's heart was shocked, but his face was very normal. He couldn't see anything wrong. Really? Isn't it wrong? Are you so kind, kid? Uncle Ma snorted. Hee, in fact, there is also something. Young Ming's mind began to work quickly. He had to find a reasonable reason. You see, if there is anything, just say it. You are looking for me, an old gatekeeper. It can't be a big deal. Uncle Ma shook his head. What else are you embarrassed to say? This is the case. I want to inquire. After Wu Qiren left, who used his original desk? Young Ming was quick-witted and came up with such a seemingly reasonable reason. Oh. Is that it? Do you need to give me a gift? Uncle Ma was stunned. He didn't expect Young Ming to look for him to inquire about something. What gift? I don't drink white wine. I just brought it on the way. Young Ming smiled and said, and the only person I know in Red Flag High School is you. And I can help you inquire about this. I will accept these 2 bottles of wine. Uncle Ma saw that Young Ming's matter was very easy, so he accepted the wine he sent. Then I will trouble you, Uncle Ma. Young Ming smiled and nodded. This was just an excuse he came up with temporarily. Young Ming didn't expect to find any clues. It was impossible for the teacher who came later to keep Wu Qiren's things, especially some of the students' letters. However, isn't there a saying? As the saying goes, a well-intentioned flower does not bloom, but an unintentional willow grows. What Young Ming didn't expect was that he actually discovered something when he casually mentioned it. Of course, this was a story for another time. Now, Young Ming was sitting beside Uncle Ma's bed, casually talking to him. Grandpa Ma, it's been so many years. Why are you still living in the school? Don't you have any relatives? Young Ming pretended to ask casually. Family. Uncle Ma's mouth twitched twice, and his eyes were a little wet. However, this was only for a moment, and he quickly covered it up. They're all gone. I can't find them, I see. I'm sorry. Young Ming looked at Uncle Ma and said apologetically. It's fine. It's been so long. It doesn't matter. Uncle Ma shook his head. Uncle Ma, isn't your home in Songjiang? Young Ming continued to ask. No, I came here later. Uncle Ma said, it's been so many years since I started living here, it's really not easy for you. Yang Ming sighed casually. Yeah, I should have a lot of children and grandchildren. AI. Uncle Ma shook his head. Yang Ming listened to Uncle Ma's words, and he felt a little strange. Why does this Uncle Ma seem to be hiding something from me? But it's not a complete concealment, but it's deliberately revealing some information. Yang Ming couldn't help but be vigilant. Could it be that he saw some flaws? No, it shouldn't be. I don't have any interaction with him. I'm only in contact with him as a former student. Moreover, there is a reason. Could it be that I'm thinking too much? It's possible. Uncle Ma, don't be angry. How about I come to see you when I'm free? Yang Ming said tentatively. Are you here to see me? Are you here to inquire about the news? Uncle Ma glanced at Yang Ming and said. Ah. Yang Ming opened his mouth incredulously. Could it be that Uncle Ma really saw something? Didn't you come to inquire about who used Wu Qiren's table after him? Do you dare to say that your first purpose is not this? Uncle Ma took a sip of wine and smiled. Hee, you even saw through this. Yang Ming's face smiled unnaturally. He was relieved in his heart. Fortunately, it's not what I thought. I was too sensitive. But after being frightened by Uncle Ma, Yang Ming didn't have the mood to continue to ask. He said a few words, got up and said goodbye to Uncle Ma. Seeing Yang Ming drive away, Mu Xiaoyao, who was a little drunk and couldn't open his eyes, suddenly became energetic. He changed from a dispirited old man to a bright and energetic one. He took out a stack of photos from a small box at his bedside and looked at them. And the people in the photo were Yang Ming and Lan Ling holding hands. Yang Ming parked the car at the door of the Nightless Club. After the expansion and renovation of the Nightless Club, it was now one of the largest entertainment and dining venues in Songjiang City. In the parking lot, luxury cars could be seen everywhere. Yang Ming's Audi R8 was not too conspicuous here. When it was almost 9 o'clock, Yang Ming received a text message from Sun Jia, asking if Yang Ming had arrived. She had already finished eating. Yang Ming replied with a message telling Sun Jia where he was. Not long after, Yang Ming saw Sun Jia accompanied by Ho Jinhan and Bao Sonli out of the Nightless Club. It could be seen that the three people were in a good mood. They should have had a good chat just now. Suddenly, Yang Ming's nerves suddenly tightened. He wanted to jump out of the car and rush to Sun Jia, but the distance was too far. Yang Ming also knew that it was impossible, but he still subconsciously jumped out of the car. Because Yang Ming saw a black shadow rushing towards Sun Jia. Fortunately, when Yang Ming saw the thing in the hand of the person who rushed over, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The person was holding a bouquet of roses in his hand. Sun Jia, I finally found you. This is for you. The man handed the flowers in his hand to Sun Jia. This person was Guo Dongchuan, the son of the underworld boss of Jiduan City. Guo Dongchuan, how did you find this place? Sun Jia frowned. Today, Sun Jia was annoyed to death. This Guo Dongchuan came to Songjiang City in the morning, and then kept calling to ask her out. Sun Jia, of course, directly refused. I don't know how this Guo Dongchuan inquired and came directly to the Nightless Club. In fact, it was Yang Ming who was to be blamed for this matter. How would Guo Dongchuan know where Sun Jia went? It was just that one of his men who came to Songjiang with him happened to see Sun Jia's Audi R8 in the parking lot of the Nightless Club. Then, he told Guo Dongchuan, so he ran over. Sun Jia, I miss you, so I came to see you. Guo Dongchuan said very affectionately. Sun Jia frowned. Guo Dongchuan, my words have been very clear. I don't like you, and you're not my type, so it's impossible for us to be together. No, feelings can be cultivated. Guo Dongchuan shook his head. You give me a chance. I will prove myself. Guodongchuan, this person, didn't look like a hooligan, but he gave people a gentle feeling. If the person he was talking to wasn't Sun Jia, but a little girl on campus, she might have been fascinated by Guodongchuan's words of love. Guodongchuan, this isn't a matter of opportunity, but I don't have feelings for you at all. Sun Jia said very firmly. But I. When Guodongchuan saw that Sun Jia was going to leave, he quickly extended his arm and stopped in front of her. This gentleman, please respect yourself. Miss Sun has made it clear enough. Please go back. Ho Jinhan frowned and said to Guodongchuan. Who are you? Do you have the right to speak here? The reason why Guodongchuan said this was because he subconsciously regarded Ho Jinhan and Bao Sanli as the bodyguard sent by the Sun family to protect Sun Jia. When he was talking to Miss Sun, how could the bodyguards have the right to interrupt? Oh. Bao Sanli suddenly smiled. If we don't have the right to speak, then why do you have the right to speak? Seeing that Miss Sun knows you, I'll let it go this time. Get out of here. Who are you talking to? You want me to get out? Do you know who I am? Guodongchuan wasn't such an arrogant person, but now in front of Sun Jia, he was humiliated by a few small bodyguards. How could Guodongchuan endure it? A burst of anger rushed to his brain. He pointed at Bao Sanli and said, Your master is polite to me, but you are arrogant. Master. Bao Sanli was stunned. Could it be Mr. Y? At the moment, he didn't dare to refute. He just looked at Ho Jinhan, but after seeing Ho Jinhan shake his head and say that he didn't know this person, Bao Sanli was completely angry. Chapter 483. How is it? Are you scared? Guodongchuan saw that Bao Sanli was stunned. He thought that Bao Sanli was scared. Suddenly, he was full of confidence. He pointed at Bao Sanli's head and said, I am talking to Sun Jia. You stay where you are. Bao Sanli was completely furious this time. This is Song Jiang's territory. Who are you? You pointed at Song Jiang's big brother and second brother and scolded them. Do you not want to live anymore? Well, even if your identity isn't ordinary, you're showing off in Song Jiang. That's not giving face. So no matter who you are, what you are doing now is a bit too much. Bao Sanli suddenly raised his hand and punched Guodongchuan. He directly beat Guodongchuan up. You dare to hit me. Guodongchuan was furious. He jumped and started to curse. But unfortunately, Bao Sanli's group of underlings saw that their boss had made a move. How could they just watch? Like a swarm of bees, they swarmed over Guodongchuan and pulled him aside to madly fix him. Sun Jia frowned, but she didn't say anything. She didn't know how to participate in this matter. Now, Bao Sanli was defending her, so he fought with Guodongchuan. But with Guodongchuan's identity, would he just let it go? It shouldn't be, right? She had a headache when she thought about it. Because of her own matter, it involved the dispute between the two major gangs. Forget it. Let him go. Sun Jia hesitated and said. Sorry, Miss Sunday. Now it's not just a problem between you and him, but a problem of him making trouble in my territory. Bao Sanli shook his head and smiled. He didn't give me face. Sun Jia shook her head and had to shut up helplessly. Anyway, she had already begged for mercy. It was fine as long as she had the intention. In the distance, Guodongchuan wailed like a ghost and howled like a wolf. Then, he was forced into a van and driven away. Miss Sun, how are you going back? Ho Jinhan asked, should I send a car to send you? No need. Someone will pick me up. Sun Jia said. Well, Miss Sun, is your person here? Asked Ho Jinhan. And, he should have arrived at the parking lot. Sun Jia smiled. Okay, then Miss Sun, as for the meeting time with your father, we have to discuss it again. You know, it's almost Chinese New Year, and there are more things, said Bao Sonli. Okay, I will tell my father. Sun Jia nodded and said, then I will leave first. Thank you, President Bao, President Ho, for your hospitality. You're welcome. Ho Jinhan smiled. Where is the car? Let us send you off. There is no need, right? Sun Jia hesitated and said. After all, it was Yang Ming who came to pick her up. With their current relationship, it was easy for others to misunderstand. Let's send her off. In our territory, of course, we have the obligation to be responsible for the safety of Miss Sunday, Bao Sonli said with a careful attitude because of the incident just now. Sun Jia thought about it and felt that it was nothing. Even if they saw it, it was nothing. They didn't know Yang Ming, so she nodded. Well, it's not far ahead. Sun Jia came to the parking lot under the escort of Bao Sonli and Ho Jinhan. Yang Ming had been paying attention to Sun Jia. When he saw them coming here, he couldn't help but frown. It was fine if Ho Jinhan saw me, but if Bao Sonli saw me, it didn't seem to be the case. Yang Ming fell into contemplation. Is it appropriate for me to appear with Sun Jia with my current identity? However, judging from the current situation, it was only a matter of time before my identity was disclosed. I have already shown my face in front of Brother Snake of the Four Snakes gang, so Yang Ming wasn't afraid of his identity being exposed. Thinking of this, Yang Ming didn't care so much. He stood firmly next to the car and waited for the three people to come over. And when Bao Sonli saw Yang Ming standing here, he was very surprised. He looked at Sun Jia and then looked at Yang Ming. He didn't know how these two people got together. Ho Jinhan didn't feel surprised. After all, Yang Ming had already told him before. So when he saw Yang Ming at this moment, he just nodded slightly to Yang Ming, then he pretended to be unfamiliar and stood aside. Brother Yang, you. Bao Sonli hesitated and greeted Yang Ming. Brother Bao, what a coincidence. I'm here to pick up Sun Jia. Yang Ming smiled. Oh. Bao Sonli nodded mechanically. He didn't know what to say for a while. Sun Jia also looked at Yang Ming and Bao Sonli suspiciously. How do these two people who have no interaction know each other? And they seem to be very familiar with each other. Sun Jia didn't know whether it was right or wrong to let him meet with Yang Ming, but things had already happened. She could only deal with it calmly, so she said, President Bao, do you know Yang Ming? Yes, yes. It's a life-and-death friendship. Bao Sonli smiled. He also saw that the relationship between Yang Ming and Sun Jia wasn't ordinary, so he tried to get closer to each other. Because the news from Mr. Y that Ho Jinhan brought was that Mr. Y was very interested in his cooperation with Sun Jia. Therefore, Bao Sonli's attitude towards Sun Jia was very good. Oh. Sun Jia was stunned. What life-and-death friendship can Yang Ming and Bao Sonli have? It was just that the current occasion wasn't suitable to ask more, so she smiled and said, Hee, I didn't know before. If I knew, I would have asked him to come and eat together. Next time. There are many opportunities. Bao Sonli nodded and said, It's just a pity today. Ho Jinhan stood there and didn't speak. There was a smile at the corner of his mouth. He thought, Brother Yang just came back from Donghai. How can he be in time to eat? It's just that Brother Yang is too badass, right? He even got the Sun family's miss. Sure, sure. Yang Ming also nodded. Next time, I will treat Brother Bao and you. That's it then. I won't bother you anymore. President Bao and I will go back first. Ho Jinhan pulled Bao Sonli's clothes. He didn't know if Yang Ming and Sun Jia had any programs, so he didn't want Bao Sonli to be a third wheel here. Seeing that Ho Jinhan pulled him, Bao Sonli also quickly said goodbye. Although he didn't know why Ho Jinhan pulled him, Ho Jinhan often had his reasons for this kind of thing. Bao Sonli was a rough person. He usually didn't pay attention to these details, and he was too lazy to pay attention to these, so he listened to Ho Jinhan. Sun Jia and Yang Ming got in the car. Yang Ming started the car and drove out of the parking lot. Let's talk. What the hell is going on? Sun Jia glanced at Yang Ming and asked faintly. What do you mean what's going on? Yang Ming turned on the CD in the car and listened to the melodious country music. He asked knowingly. What do you think? I don't need to remind you again, right? Sun Jia looked at Yang Ming with a smile. Yang Ming, you seem to have a lot of things that you haven't told me, right? Damn. Sun Jia, even if I tell you, I need to have a chance to tell you, right? We don't usually communicate much. Yang Ming said with a smile, you also know that there are some things that are only said at the last minute. Generally, we can only talk about some personal topics when we are lying in bed or before going to bed, right? Sun Jia rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Nothing good comes out of a dog's mouth. Aren't you talking nonsense? Why don't you spit it out for me to see? Yang Ming snorted. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. How do you and Bao Sonli know each other? Sun Jia looked at Yang Ming and asked. In the detention center, we have the same cell. Yang Ming didn't hide it and said directly, I helped him fight once, but it was tragic enough, so our relationship is good. You have been to the detention center. Sun Jia turned to look at Yang Ming. Aren't you a college student? Didn't Yang Li tell you before? I'm just a little punk. What's so strange about a little punk entering the detention center? Yang Ming didn't want to mention Lin Jian's matter. After all, it wasn't so glorious. Besides, that's all in the past. I haven't been out for a long time. I thought Yang Li said it casually. Sun Jia smiled. It turns out to be true. Why? Are you looking down on me? Yang Ming asked casually. In fact, Yang Ming's heart didn't think so. If Sun Jia looked down on him, she wouldn't be so close to him. No, I think you know what my family does. We are about the same. Sun Jia was afraid that Yang Ming would think too much, so she quickly comforted him and let him feel relieved. Okay, you don't have to comfort me. I know the gap between you and me. Yang Ming said deliberately. In fact, he was just joking with Sun Jia. Turn around. Sun Jia said suddenly. Aw. Yang Ming was stunned. What are you doing? Go to the hotel. Sun Jia said faintly. Ha. Yang Ming opened his mouth in surprise. Why are we going to the hotel?